Today, okay? So if you're here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you're catching us on the replay, welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of On the Block with Jen. You already know what to do before you even start listening to Mama. Hit the subscribe and the likes. The subscribe if it's your first time here, because you're going to like it here. You're going to like it here. And hit the like if you're one of my regular block stars. Welcome, everybody. Today's going to be an interesting conversation with the actor, writer, director, Glenn Lawrence presents. So let me pull him up here real quick before I start talking my crap. How are you, Mr. Lawrence?
I'm doing well. I think today's episode is actually called On the Block with Jen and Glenn. Just saying.
Okay. You know what? I'll give it to you. I will give you that. I will give you that. Today's episode is officially called On the Block with Jen and Glenn. Okay, everybody got that? That's what we're going with today. Welcome, sir. How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I am doing, just doing business, making moves. Yeah, so I'm good.
Yay. So welcome, everybody. And you are also doing good if you're watching this because you are alive, right? And it's a good thing to be alive. So if you're alive, okay, anything is possible, all right? So forget what you're feeling right now. If you are here and you're watching us, you're alive, and that's a good thing, okay? So make the best of it as you see fit, okay? So welcome to so today's I want to jump right in, Glenn. Today's episode came from a panel that you were on the Block with Jen. You said something, and I was like, sometimes the little light bulb over my head, although it's cracked, it turns on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I liked what you said. You said women like men that are in control, not a man that is controlling. Now, when I promoted this episode, a couple people were like, well, you can't have one without the other. So since this is something that you said and you believe in, and I find quite intriguing because it is food for thought, how can you separate the two? How can you separate being a man in control from a man that is controlling when people are saying it's the same shit? Tomato, tomato.
Well, okay. Controlling is out of done security. Okay. And control is actually options. To have control over something, I have options. Now, let me explain it this way.
Okay.
I'm in control over my life. Nobody else in this world dictates what Glenn does. Okay? Glenn has control over his life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I had a partner that was demeaning or telling me what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do things, that means I'm being controlled and they are controlling. Now, if I say, you know what, there's certain things that I won't allow in my life. If you're doing drugs, I can't be with somebody that's a drug addict. Not my thing. Mm-hmm. I have control over who I want and allow in my life. I'm not controlling you. I'm not telling you you can't do drugs. I'm just saying you can't do drugs if you're with me. Hold on 1 second. Give me one.
Yeah, all my friends are always working, so this is going to happen. So that's interesting. So if we look at, meanwhile, till Glenn comes back, when we look at the meaning, of control, because, a lot of people that watch me are very technical folks. So when you look at, it's okay. When you look at the word control, the basic definition is the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. Right now, it doesn't have control as a synonym. So it is two different things. Controlling is determine the behavior or supervise the running of, right? So that there is a difference for all the people that were commenting on my promo. Well, it's no difference. It's the same thing. If you're in control, then you're controlling somebody else. But the way you explained it, Glenn, is two different things. Why do you think people are confusing the two? Is it just because the letters are the same?
No, I think they okay, most people nowadays don't like boundaries. Boundaries is a sense of control. I put up boundaries in my relationships and activities because I want control over my life, and there's certain things that I won't allow happen. Boundaries with people are good things. That's putting up control. Now, if you have people that have no boundaries, and then they're running amok, do whatever they want, and then they're like, well, get over it. No, I'm not going to get over it. There's certain things that I will allow and will not allow in my life. And that's healthy boundaries. And that's having a sense of control. Control is not a bad thing. And neither is the word manipulation. People say manipulation is a bad thing. No, manipulation can be a bad thing. Control can be a bad thing. But in themselves, they're not bad. We manipulate our kids when we tell them, eat your vegetables and you'll be big and strong like Superman. Knowing damn well asparagus ain't gonna get you shit but smelly piss. Okay?
That's a way to look at it.
But that's a form of manipulation. We manipulate their kids to eat better. It's for a good reason, but it's still manipulation. So it doesn't make it any bad. It just, if it's the way it is. The way that control can be abused, this is the way I look at controlling. And I'll really paint a really easy picture. Guy has no confidence and is always rubbernecking on his girl. Where you going? What are you doing? No, I don't like her. You should be going out with her. She a hood rat. She should be doing them weird things for $1.50. Nah. Every time you go out, she gets drunk. She's always a mess. Nah, that's controlling. Control be like, you know what? That could be your friend, and you may want her and hurt your life, but she ain't allowed over at my house. Because I don't need problems in my house. That's control. If it's my house, I make the rules. That's a boundary that I have. I don't want weird people in my house. Every time your friend comes over, her underwear's on her head. That's weird to me. I don't like it. Okay?
Isn't there a very thin line though? Because you're telling her what she can't and can't do in a sense. So it's a thin line, isn't it?
I'm telling you what I will and will not accept.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever you do determines whether or not you're going to be in my life or not. That's not control. I'm giving you the option. You know, like it's not a control thing. Controlling is physically trying to manipulate or to enforce someone to bend to your will. That's controlling. To control is to say, you know what? Here are your options. You make your choice. You're in charge and control of your life, just as I am in charge and control of my life. And if I don't want this behavior, I'm not accepting it from anybody. That's control.
Do you think that control can turn into, because I like that. Okay, control is, look, this is not gonna, we've all been through that where it's like, look, you do what you do out there. I don't want this around me. I don't want this in my house. So if that person stays with you, can control grow into controlling? Or do you think they're forever separate? Do you think control can go into controlling, or do you think they're forever separate? Because if that person stays with you, let's say, then you're controlling who they see and when.
No, I'm not controlling who they see. I'm not gonna. It's like, let me give you another analogy. Here's a better analogy. All right. Let's say we're together, right? Mm-hmm. And you like wearing some promiscuous ass clothing. Mm-hmm. And you know what? You look great. The outfit looks amazing on you, but I don't find it appropriate for my partner to be wearing that type of clothing, that revealing in public. That's a problem. And I'm not telling you can't wear it, but I'm just telling you, if you want to be my partner, that's not going to be a okay thing. Mm-hmm. Your choice. You get to make the choice whether or not you value me enough as a partner to not dress that way. I'm not controlling your dress. You are choosing to change your dress for the benefit of being with me, because you see the value in our partnership. It's not a control thing. Does that make it any different?
No, it makes sense to me, right? But sometimes I even wonder, because I have the same thoughts like you do, right? I'm like, nope, this is not happening around me, or blah, blah, blah. We're both very strong people. But sometimes I wonder if I am controlling, right? Because I'm like, this is what's going on. So I'm trying to dive into, is there a thin line, and is it really fair to separate the two? Are we the people in control? Are we in denial that we are controlling people?
True control, you only have control of yourself.
Correct.
You have no control over anybody. Okay? And what people try to do is they try to enforce control through manipulation, fear, physical prowess or violence, you know, and that's all forms of manipulation to gain control. I don't want control over anybody. I only want control over myself and my world and what I allow in my world. Now, if you want to fly off the handle, go batshit crazy, I'll just walk away and be like, okay, goodbye. We're done. Moving on. Because I'm not going to allow that in my life. Mm-hmm. You know? And if you're like, well, how aren't you going to allow that in my life? Now you're just trying to control how I react. No, I'm not. I'm just saying the way you react doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. You find someone else you could react like that too. Johnny Depp's single, you know, like, but that ain't going to work for me.
Right.
You know, like, so it really comes down to, like, when you think about it, what are you controlling? You're controlling yourself. And there is no real control other than the control you have over yourself.
Okay, so when you said the exact statement, when you said before on the panel, you said women want a man that is in control, not a man that is controlling.
Yes.
What is a man that, just for the ladies who may be watching and the men who have no clue, What does that look like? What does a man in control look like versus a man that is controlling?
A man that is in control looks like this. He has his shit together. He knows what he wants and he's going after it. He has control over his emotions. He has control over his finances. He has control over the direction that his life is going on. That's control. A controlling man doesn't have any of that. A controlling man, a man that has control doesn't try to force his will on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you have to do it my way. It's options. A man that has control offers options.
Mm-hmm.
A man that's controlling tries to be domineering, tries to enforce his will upon people. A man that has control shares his will and gives an option. So simple. All right, so here you go. You got girl with boy.
Mm-hmm.
And boy likes to, go out and party it up, and it's okay with him. And he gets to go to the strip clubs and whatever else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Girlfriend's like, oh, I'm gonna have ladies' night in Vegas. I'm gonna go hit up Jen, and we're gonna go see Thunder from Down Under. Right? Guys like, fuck that. No, you can't. You ain't going. I'm gonna go with you. Blah 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 blah. Jen is that. That's controlling.
Okay. Okay. What would you say if the man's is, and we're just dissecting here. We're just dissecting. Thank you. So we're just dissecting here. What would you say if the man's reasoning for I don't want you to go to the Thunder Down Under because you may meet a guy who may convince you to run away with him or sleep with him, whatever, and that's going to be bad for our relationship. Is that not? Is he just not looking out for the relationship? Same as, hey, I don't want that whole cake best friend of yours over at my house.
It's yes and no. So it's like this. If my girl tries to say, hey, I'm gonna go to Thunder from Down Under, and I'll be like, okay, make sure you pack your shit when you leave. And the reason being is because that lifestyle is not connected to my lifestyle. Like I'm very risk adverse in what I do. I don't go to strip clubs. I don't fuck with these hoes like that, at all. I work with a lot of weird people. So I know who to stay away from and where to stay, stay in my comfort zone where I like. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not going to do something like that, and the mess and the problems that stuff brings back home, because you get the rumors, you get, this and that, I don't want to deal with it. So I also want a partner that doesn't want to deal with it and won't subject themselves to that same mess so that we would have to deal with these things.
Now, wait a minute, Glenn. Wait a minute. A little ladies' night out, a little girls' night out over at, at Magic Mike.
Okay, first of all, we all know what goes down over there. Okay, I know a lot of male strippers, and they've told me what they do. So no Magic Mike. Okay.
Now, and Michelle raises a good point, which is something that I kind of mentioned earlier. But if I follow his plan only, then it only benefits him. Therefore, he is controlling, right? Question mark. What's up, Haran?
No. So if a real man doesn't just if he's with somebody, the benefit is not individual.
Okay.
Moving as a unit. Like he's thinking what's best for us. What's best for us is if we do this. Okay? We do this. Now, if you have a manipulative person, this is controlling. If I make sure that the only things that we do benefit me, I'm controlling. But if we have control, there's a difference. It's a fine line. It is a fine line. But control is, look, I'm not going to operate out of these perimeters that I feel is the best for my life. Now, you want to operate out of those perimeters? That's fine. You don't have to be in my life. I'm not forcing you to be here.
I'm trying. I'm chewing. I'm chewing, Glenn. I don't know if I can swallow. I'm chewing. I'm still chewing.
Okay.
I want to swallow this because I'm even thinking about myself here. This is not because I think this is also applies to women. You know what I mean?
Here's a question. You got kids, right?
I do.
Okay. Remember when you were in high school? Or your kids were in high school?
Yes.
Did you have a curfew for your kids?
Yes.
Why are you controlling them? Are you controlling them?
Because I knew the dangers of what's out there.
But your mom, you're controlling me. Not letting me live my life. I'm trying to live my best life.
But they're not an adult.
Oh, so? You're saying, look, if you live in this household, there's these rules, because who pays the bills in this household? You do. Who supplies the things for them in this household? You do. So this is the rules and boundaries that you have for your household. You're not controlling. You're maintaining control. There's a difference.
Okay.
Will be like, controlling will be like you're trying to tell someone else how to live their life and enforce your on their life. You're not doing that. You're saying, hey, until you turn 18, you have to live under these rules, and these are the rules that you have to live under. And once you're 18, you do what the hell you want. But if you choose to live here after 18, you still got to abide by these rules. That's not control.
Okay, so what do you think? What do you think? Morena Reyes is making. The ladies are making some great points. She says that's not control. That's structure. When you're talking to a child.
Structure is a form of control. In order for something to be structured and secured, there has to be a level of control there to maintain those boundaries. You can build a structure without enforcing the boundaries of the structure. There is none.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Haran says, there's nothing wrong with a man establishing order if a man is about his brand. He is clear on the kind of women and friends he allows in his space.
Absolutely. I agree with him 100%.
Okay, so when we flip it and we look at women, because I think women, if I could be wrong, but I think women get stamped more controlling than men. But I think in our defense, we have to be in charge of a lot.
Well, there's a difference. Women try to have control through means of controlling. Big difference.
Wait a minute now. You have to explain that before I'm about to take my earrings off. Explain that.
Okay. We all know the power that women have between their legs. All right. I'll just say that. That's a great negotiating chip. I mean, how many times we hear, therapists say, well, if you want more sex, you got to do the dishes more. Okay, so now you got all these men doing dishes just so these legs open up. You know what I'm saying? That's power. Women tend to, not all women, but most women tend to control men by what they have sexually for them. And that's where it's controlling. You shouldn't have to control anybody. All you have to do is control yourself. But if you want someone to do what you want them to do, now you're trying to control them, and that's controlling.
Okay, so you're saying that women try to control by using things They're controlling. But don't men do the same when it comes to money?
It's completely different, though. Look at this. And money is something that he has earned, exponential. That is his reward for working hard. This is my money. This is my investment.
Mm-hmm.
Women don't, unless they're a prostitute, don't make money out of their hoo-ha. Okay? That's a big difference.
What if she has her own damn money without selling her hoo-ha?
You got your own money, you got your own money. Like, this is all these what ifs, but what if this, what if that? Let's talk about a realistic hypothetical here. In the 1950s, we had what? Men, breadwinners, right? Majority of breadwinners household.
Mm-hmm.
Picket white fence, little Karen and little Sam, and then the dog, right? That was the family, whatever, right? The husband was the head of the household because he was the breadwinner. And everything went through the husband. Mom ran the house.
Correct.
But it was dad that where the big decisions came to, it went to dad because he was the breadwinner. That was a structure. It was a hierarchy. People say call it patriarchy, whatever you want. I don't care. At the end of the day, that was a system. That was a boundary. That was a form of control over. Now, if the relationship or things didn't go wrong in the family, it fell on the husband. You fucked up, little Timmy. Now little Timmy's a transvestite. Like that's where it would go down to. It would never fall on the mom. The responsibility.
Well, now everything falls on the mom. Like everything falls on the mom.
Because now the mom's trying to be everything. I don't need no man. Come
wait,
on.
wait a minute now, Glenn. I'm glad this is Jen versus Glenn. Wait a minute now. The women are overcompensating for men being idiots and leaving the family.
Okay.
We became stronger as men become weaker. That's a survival thing. No. It's not a desire thing.
Oh, no, it's a desire thing. You guys need to show your emotions more. You guys need to be more vulnerable. Oh, my God, I need you to cry in the notebook. And then now you have a whole bunch of boys running around in skinny jeans, singing like they're girls, and they don't even know how to be men. Ladies, you've asked for these feminized men, and now you don't want them. Okay, come on.
Okay. I've never wanted one of those effeminate men, but I think, it's so then if that's true, and I want to get to what Rochelle said in a comment that Morena said earlier, if that's true, then men were never in control if all women had to do was request a softer man. And now, according to you, there's a whole generation of skinny jean wearers. So you're trying to chalk that up to women just said, hey, guys, be more emotional. So now there's skinny jean wearers because we said that?
Guys chose to sacrifice themselves in a sense, like their masculinity, manhood, because like, oh my God, girls saying they want a guy that's more softer. Okay, I will be more softer because I want to get a girl. I want to get with Jen. So Jen likes skinny jeans. I'm gonna start rocking some skinny jeans. Like I'm gonna start wearing a man bun. Oh my God, I'll go get a mani and pedi with her. We can have girls' night. Like then the dude just became your girlfriend, not your boyfriend. Like that's what guys.
What do you think of M. Rochelle's comment here? She said, again, if it does not benefit both parties, it is controlling. What do you think about that?
I think you have to look at it from the overall picture. Okay, look at it from the bigger worldview rather than in the moment. I think in the moment you can get lost in things. For example, I'll just use clothing for example. This is easy example. Again, I go back to it all the time. If you're wearing a certain outfit and we're together and I'm like, I don't appreciate this outfit. I don't think that you should be advertising yourself to everyone else that's supposed to be mine, right? If you say you're with me and I'm with you, so then what I got is yours and what you got is mine. But if you're advertising it out and to show everybody else, a sneak peek, then that's a problem for me. As I'm not me controlling you, I'm saying I don't see this relationship being the way it could be because that's attention seeking. And if you want attention, you should come from me, not from everybody else. Now that may not work for you, and you'd be fine with that. Then we don't have to be together. I'm not controlling you, but I'm telling you what I'm asking for is this boundary here, this boundary box, the way that I operate in my life. And I'm saying this will work best for both of us because I give you my full attention, you give me your full attention, and we're not seeking it from other people, you know?
Okay, that's interesting. Before we move forward, I wanted to address this real quick because I think Morena said this regarding your women using their basically their pussy power as a manipulation tactic. She says, "Oh, what's between our legs?" Laughing out loud. Women would have no control if men weren't so quick to do just about anything. But what's between a woman's legs? I have to co-sign that because even with the whole skinny jeans thing and the effemination of men, you put it on women. So it's sounding to me like you have more power over men.
It's men's desire for women. That's the thing. Their desire for women is so ridiculous that they're willing to do the most absurd things or endure the most ridiculous things just for the box. And I'm just like, no, that's them giving up control to a woman for access to the box. I'm just like, you know what? That's where guys are having problems. Like, let's look at it this way. Now, I'm going to say something that's probably going to be real controversial and probably going to piss off a lot of women.
No, not you, Glenn.
Yeah. Other than vagina, there's nothing that a woman can give a man that a man cannot get himself.
I'm done because you know why? Because I think women have proven more and more and more and more, especially today, that we don't need men either.
Yes, exactly.
Like, aside from penis, if I'm paying my own bills, I got my own car, my own tires rotated, I can check to get, you know what I mean? I'm maintaining my home. Shit, I can even fix a leaky faucet.
Yep.
Why do I have to have you sweating on my couch and washing your dirty drawers? For what?
That's where the thing is. It's not a want.
But is that where we are now?
It is, though. It's sad because it's almost a good thing. It really is a good thing.
How is it a good thing? And if you do you mind me opening up the panel? Because I got some people that want to come up.
Yeah. But let me say this. It's a good thing because now a woman doesn't need a man. She wants a man. And if for the right guy, she will want to clean his dirty drawers. Okay? Because she loves his company and she loves what he provides to them as a unit. You don't have to wash his dirty drawers, but you know what? You love smelling them dirty drawers when they throw them in the hamper because what you guys build together, the empire that you build together is worth it.
Okay. Angry Jenkins. I don't know if he's referring to the women or the men. He says you won't be saying that at 60. I hear that a lot, and yet there's so many single people at 60 who are doing just fine. But I don't know if he means to the men or to the women, because I think a lot of people are 60, 70, 80. I know people that are well in their 70s, 80s, and they're single and they're fine and they're doing their thing and going to the gym and cutting their grass and doing their thing. So I think a lot of that is fear mongering. We hear that a lot. It's like, oh, you be saying that at 70, 80. I'm like, but a lot of people are alone at 70, 80, right? So I don't know, Angry Jenkins. I don't know if you meant for women or for men. So I'm bringing back Glenn we lost him for 1 second. I'm bringing back Glenn to address that. Heron DeMarco, how are you, sir?
Hey, what's popping?
What is popping? So, I mean, this conversation is really interesting. There is a thin line, and now we're going into gender. You know, gender always turns into the 4th of July on these panels. But at least at least Glenn says that, you know, that reality of not needing, of a man not needing a woman, you know, also expands to men, I mean, women not needing men as well. So if we have turned into a society that doesn't need each other, what does the future look like? Is it a happier future? Or
Look,
is it a dysfunctional future?
look, if I don't need somebody, why would I have them in my life? Unless I want them. That's a better thing. You know what? That's genuine desire. You should want every relationship to be based on genuine desire, not on a transactional basis of, oh, I need someone strong to pick up this shit and put it in the garage, or I need someone strong to protect me. I want him to protect me, and I want him because he's strong, and I enjoy him. It should go to genuine desire. Hell yeah, I'm all for nobody needing each other. I would love it for it to everybody wanting to be with each other.
Okay. So Ben Luke Adams, if you want to come up, I dropped the link. You can just click on it and come up. He has a lot to say in the chat. He says a lot of men really don't want to be lonely at a later age. That's the bottom line. And he says, bro, you lying.
Hey, come on.
Hallie with brains, you want that. I assume Halle Berry.
Look, there's a shirt that says peace over pussy. AB made it. I love the shirt. And it really highlights a lot of things. You're not gonna your life, whatever you bring, should bring peace. You're not my peace, but you're not gonna take away from my peace. Mm-hmm. Okay? And if you bring calamity and strife, I don't want you in my life. I'd rather be, my dad's 60 some odd years old. He lives in a nice house, single, you know, and he loves life.
Right. How old is your dad?
63.
There you go. So he's saying it at 60.
He goes to his girlfriend's house. She rarely comes over our house, you know. When I come over, I never see her. But he's always going out to dinner with her and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, I go to her place. I don't bring her back to my place. This is my piece, you know?
So YouTube watchers clapping back a little bit. She says dignity over dick, ladies. But I can say peace over penis, too. You know what I mean? Yeah, because you guys...
I think, can I just interject for a second? Can I just interject for a second?
Go ahead, Haram. What you got?
I think at the end of the day, we're not really having the real serious discussions right here. This is really just about gender politics. And at the end of the day, when it comes to those things, we're really talking about leverage. Okay. Now, I'm going to discuss how men and women have leverage. Now, you have men who, you could have a man who's, let's just say he's a well off individual. You know what I mean? He's well off into, you know what I mean, the millions and so on and so forth. And he has a particular set of, you can call them rules, boundaries, whatever it is. But he has a particular set of guidelines on how the ship moves based on his lifestyle, his brand, and so on and so forth. Any woman that comes in there, 9 times out of 10, because he is who he is and what he has, she's going to follow right along.
Yep.
He's going to follow right along because he has that power. On the flip side, I've seen women who might be exceptionally beautiful and intentionally they might target men who are less attractive. And they feel that targeting this man who is less attractive is going to put them in a position where he listens more. He's going to he's going to do more. He's going to do more to keep her. He is most likely going to fall in love with her faster. So if he's in love and she is in the like or care for phase, she has better control over the relationship. Mm-hmm. So we need to really have the real tough and hardcore conversations. And like I said, that's really about leverage. I'll give you another example. I got a partner of mine, you know, he was unemployed for a minute, you know, he was going through it, so on and so forth. But his lady she wasn't bugging too much. She was okay. Now, the moment he got a gig and he started going to the gym and he started eating differently and he started thinking differently, there was problems in the relationship.
Yeah, that's when you got to get rid of them. When they start smelling that pee, and then, you gave them wings, and they
But what I'm saying though, in that situation though, he was fine with her. He didn't cause her any kind of problems. But I think in a sense, she felt like, okay, well, this guy is going to transform into a man with options in about 1.5 seconds. And
uh-huh.
once you start, I've seen it in relationships on the men and the female side. Once, especially with men, once a man becomes a guy who has options, and he wasn't that guy before, it changes the power dynamic in the relationship.
Yep.
So you're saying that ASAP Rocky is doing whatever in the hell Rihanna tells him to do?
But I don't think
Not totally. I mean, still a man at the end of the day, but I will
But you
say
said it's
that
about
to
leverage.
some
You said it's
to
about
some
leverage.
degree, he's easier to control than per se a Drake. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I will say that.
Got it. So let's do a super chat break really quick, Glenn, before you respond to that. Welcome, Il Doctor. What's up? You want Cam up, Il? He says, thank you for the super chat. He says, people want control over what causes anxiety. Controlling men want to influence how others move and think. This insecurity expresses uncertainty about how things will unfold. Ouch. Ouch, ouch. So now I'm wondering, have I tried to control shit that gave me anxiety? All right, this is definitely a come to Jesus panel today. Atheist Jesus.
Jen, I would not be shocked if you had some controlling ways. I can see that on you.
Oh no,
Not saying that I
I
know.
admit it. What? You see it on me. Please. You
Yeah.
don't need glasses for that. Thank you for the title doctrine. He says competent men aren't controlling.
Yep.
Competence cures insecurity. More competence is more security about outcomes and less use of control to cope with anxiety. Competent men over real men all day. Okay, I'm
He
feeling
has
that.
a solid he has a solid point about that because look, like just say a guy, say if you're a guy, and if you do well with women, and this particular woman is acting up and she's going in a direction that you're saying, okay, this is only a matter of time before this, you know what I mean, goes left. Now you have the choice of whether or not to cut her off yourself or just let it play out, you know what I mean? But, he loses her. He's not really going to be thinking like, oh my God, oh my God. You know what I mean? He's not going to panic per se. Because what? He's probably got another one lined up. Or, you know what I mean, he has no issue actually getting, another one, period. So in that sense, he is competent in the area of attracting women. Men like that are often a lot more comfortable in relationships.
I think Tris has a great point. He says regarding ASAP and Rihanna, ASAP will because Rihanna's connections will make him fall in line. We all see how Offset will cheat on Cardi B, but never leaves because Cardi has connections Offset
There you
doesn't
go.
have.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
Here's something interesting. Okay. And here's a call. It's about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever doesn't need the relationship the most has the most leverage.
Right.
You know what's funny? I've heard that said about I don't know how true it is about hugs. When you're hugging someone, the person that lets go first is the one that's in control of the relationship. I don't know if that's a myth or how true it is, but it just reminded me of when you said that. So the person that needs the relationship the least, you're saying, has the least leverage.
Has the most leverage. Has the most leverage.
Oh, right. Okay, has the most because they can just. All right. Interesting. So some harsh truths here today on today.
Control is not a bad thing. Let's get back to the topic because we're talking about control, men with control, and controlling men. Okay.
So control not a bad thing because control, just like submission, has turned into a 4-letter word, right? Everybody hates the word submission. Everybody hates the word control. So how is control not a bad thing? How can we take the charge and the trigger out of the word control?
Okay, whoever has control has to be responsible.
Okay. Okay.
So, like for instance, if I am in control over my finances, that means if I go bankrupt and I'm broke, guess whose responsibility it is? It's on me.
Correct. What's
See,
up, Steph?
and if you want control, equal control, there can't be equal control in a relationship. It's always a dynamic, it's always a hierarchy. However you want to control it, whether it's she's leading him and he's following suit, or he's leading her. But there's no, we're co-equals in this control because somebody's going to blame somebody. And typically in history, it's always been the man, for any type of failed relationship, it was the man's fault. Okay, that's how society looked at it.
Because y'all always fucking up, though.
Sometimes y'all women don't know how to act right either. But let's move on from that. We're talking about from society, they looked at it that way, and that's why. Because he was in charge, he was in control, he was responsible. So if you want control, you have to be willing to take on the responsibility of all areas of that with great responsibility, or with great reward comes great responsibility, whatever you want to look at it. If you want to be in control, then you have to be willing to take the responsibility of everything when it fails.
Correct.
And see, women have a problem with accountability. And we see that a lot on TV. We see that a lot on TikTok. We see that even right now, Amber Heard. We see that with, everything. There's a lack of accountability being displayed. Not all women, but this younger culture of women have a really disunderstanding of accountability and what does it mean and how they have to be accountable. And it's not just women, men too, but I'm saying we're seeing, okay, here's the thing. With Me Too, we're pointing out men need to be accountable for what men do. Okay, now we're holding men accountable. That's great. Love it. Let's keep on doing it. I think we should chop off the penises later on when they get too far. But, okay, we're doing that. But when women misbehave, we point out now they need to be accountable. Now we're hearing, well, she grew up in a bad home and she wasn't raised right. Her dad wasn't there.
That's our fault, though. That's our fault, though, because a lot of times we could be a lot harder on these women, and we don't. We opt not to. We really opt not to be hard on these women, and we fall for the crocodile tears. And I've been guilty of this too. When it's like, hey man, we should put this woman's feet to the fire, but there's something in us as men that says the first response is not to do that to a woman. It is to do that to another man. You know what I mean? But the first response is not to do that to a woman. But I understand what you're saying, though. I do understand what you're saying.
The reason why we do it to another man is because a man is supposed to be accountable.
Exactly.
And so we're saying, okay, you want this power change, you want to have control, then guess what? You also now have to be accountable of that control that you have.
So I'm gonna read I'm gonna read Chef Shapino's comment, and I'm gonna come back after both of y'all because y'all talking shit now. Now I got something to say. Now y'all pissing me off. This is because I got something to say because I got my own theories about men and women. Chef Shapino, okay. What's up, sir? Chef Shapino says there is a line between control and management. The thickness of that line is determined by the person who needs to change and improve behavior. That is what Chef is saying on today. And Tristan says, a woman crying is my weakness. I'll be honest at that. Noted, Tris. So when we hook up and I want an extra scoop of ice cream, I will get the tears. I am an actress. I can cry on cue. Chef also says, an ex called to argue with me against my will, crashed her car into the back of someone and blamed me for the accident. What the
fuck?
Fuck?
Is a perfect example of lack of accountability. Right? I'm calling you to argue with you, and now I crashed because I'm on the phone arguing with you. Well, why are you on the phone when you're driving anyways? Isn't that illegal unless it's hands-free? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you blaming me for this accident you did? That's a lack of accountability. Do you not see
Okay,
that?
but speaking of accountability, I think, and it's never going to happen, right? But in a perfect fluffy Jen world with the unicorns, you know what I mean, and the glittery clouds, you know, men and women would realize they're the same whiny, toxic, unaccountable motherfucker. They're exactly the same. Not one of them is more irresponsible, control. They are exactly the same. And you know why? It's forever going to be dysfunctional, because this is how I see it. Okay. Men are raised. It's like, I'll compare it to a wild animal who has always been wild its entire life. Men.
Hold on. Men are wild animals?
No, listen. Just an observation. In life, human beings, you got a wild animal. Let's say a wild animal grew up wild his whole life. And then you have the caged animal who was born in captivity. That's the woman. So then you put these two together and they come together and try to fucking form a relationship. It's never going to work. It's never going to happen. 50% of the divorce rate is because you took a wild lion and put it in a cage with a lioness, okay, that was born in captivity. And now these two motherfuckers are supposed to get along and relate to each other. They don't even speak the same language. They don't even get their food the same way. Wait a minute. Women are reared and conditioned. Close your legs, sit up straight, cry if you need something. You want a wedding. You're a princess. And men are raised, conquer her. You're a man. You got a big dick. Get out there. Get that money. And now you put these motherfuckers together in a cage, and people wonder why we're getting divorced at a 50% rate.
I will say,
you can't. Don't Haran. Don't give me that we're not hard enough on women. Are you fucking kidding me? Women are not raised to fuck with y'all, and vice versa.
Well, okay, no, on that point, right there, just what you made. Women are not raised to fuck with us, right? So then, if you're not raised to fuck with us and operate at our level, then why are they saying that they want equal rights? Because if you want equal rights, that means you have the equal opportunity to fuck with us at our level. And then we should be able to hold you to that standard at our level if you're trying to fuck with us.
No, sir, because see, and that whole equal rights thing is taken out of context. So
No.
It's like, all right, Glenn, listen. If you were doing that, it's this simple. It's black and white. It's 1 + 1 = 2. If you're doing the same office job and I'm doing the same office job, there's no heavy lifting involved. There's no drilling involved. You pushing the same amount of papers that I'm pushing. Why shouldn't we get paid the same way?
We should.
Right. So that's it. That doesn't mean that, oh, now I don't want you to hold the door open for me. And now I'm going to change my own tire. That doesn't mean that. I don't know why men do that. It just means if we're doing the same shit, I want the same amount of money.
That's true. No,
I control over my womb. It's not your womb.
But when I say like equality, when I say equality, I mean equality across the whole table here. Not just in bits and pieces where it's convenient to have equality. I'm a blanket statement person. Like, I think we all should be equal.
But it doesn't. Your blanket personality doesn't make sense for equal.
Well, no, it does. It does in the sense of, look, I don't think a man should control a woman, and I don't think a woman should control a man. All right. I think that if you want to, please the other person, great. That's your choice, but not control. I was against the arranged marriage thing. I think that was stupid. Like, oh, I'm going to go sell off my daughter to this, Aladdin guy for like. I'm like,
not Aladdin.
For goats and oil.
Yeah, like a lamp right here. Like, I don't get that. I never understood that.
Okay, Jen. Jen, to your point, Jen, when you were talking about. Okay, so you're very colorful, metaphor of us being wild animals and women being demure.
I still love y'all. I still love y'all. But
no. I'm not gonna. To your point, I understand what you're saying, and Glenn, let's be honest here. At our core, men, yes, we are savages. At our core, we are. Now, this is why we have the term gentleman. This is why we have the term civilized. This is why we have the term, this is why we refer to having manners and treating a woman like a lady, because, men, if they are to exist in a relationship with a woman, yes, you have to let go of certain things that do speak to your primal nature. Now you exercise those in other ways, but yeah, I think one of the problems that we do have, that I was telling a lot someone the other day, I think that a lot of men have really forgotten how to be gentlemen. I think a lot of men have forgotten how to exist in a relationship with a woman. I think a lot of men need to learn basic manners when being around a woman, basic etiquette. I often don't, I know I swear a lot here, but I often, if I'm on a date or whatever, if I'm meeting a woman, I don't swear, I don't do certain things. You know what I mean? You also, as a man, like for instance, what's considered simp behavior now is allowing a woman space to go before you. You know what I mean? In the interest of shrouding protection around her. You know what I mean? Being concerned of her safety, so on and so forth. A lot of these things are associated with simp behavior. We just really have to really get away from a lot of those ideas of being a decent person is bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
When you're around a woman.
I
But don't
totally.
you think that men are taking it harder? Don't you think that men are taking it harder, that more women are in control than women are taking it hard, that men have always been in control? I think men are unraveling. Like I'm really seeing them unravel and become unhinged at this new woman, this modern woman who has more
Because she
control.
has
Like,
options. She
men
has
are
options. Yes.
Yes, it's
She has
optional,
options.
okay.
but it's not.
She has options. See, in the 50s and the 60s, women didn't have options. Okay, you stayed home, you put up whatever bullshit that he put you through. You know what I mean? Whatever it was, because 9 times out of 10, you know what I mean, she might not even have a bank account, much less have the opportunity to actually go out there and build a life for herself. Money changes everything.
But
Opportunities, opportunities change everything.
here's the thing. As much as I think that men need to learn how to be gentlemen and act around women, I think women need to learn how to be ladies because
I agree with that.
I've held the door open for a lady. She's like, I could do that myself. And I close the door on her. I'm like, fine, bitch, do it yourself. You know, like it's not me being rude. It's if you're gonna discredit the courtesy that I'm trying to give you, then you're not being a lady. The lady respects the courtesy of the man giving up his seat for her to sit down. You know, the lady respects the courtesy. Like he knows that I know her arms work. I know she can open the door. I just got there first, and I'm like, you know what? Here you go. You can do it yourself. Close the door. All right, do it yourself. You know, like.
But don't you think that's I think and this harsh reality, but I think a lot of men are feminizing themselves. That's what I
Absolutely.
think. And here's why I think that, right? Because it's like, okay, so you ran into some bitch somewhere who didn't want her door open. You can't really generalize that. That's just as dumb as when women are saying all men are dogs.
No,
No,
no.
men you dealt with were dogs. So when you said ladies need to learn manners, I always say thank you if someone holds the door for me. And I've had people not say thank you when I hold the door, men and women.
What I'm getting at, and not using that one instance as a blanket statement for all women, but I'm saying in our culture, we see things that we see behavior both from men and women, men not being gentlemen and women not being ladylike, right? And I was in this conversation and I was like, how do we make better gentlemen? And then the conversation turned to like, well, if we made better gentlemen, they're still they're still not going to deal with women that are ladies. They're dealing with these because to be a gentleman requires, and here it goes back to a control thing. If you are a gentleman, you're in control of yourself.
Right.
Control of your emotions, your control of your actions. You know how to walk the fine line, and you know what you're willing to accept and not accept.
So
Right?
let me test that what you just said, because Em Michelle made a good point. She says, but you had to call her a bitch, just walk away. Are you in control of your emotions?
In my head.
Okay. Fair enough.
I just let go of the door. I just let go of the door. I'm like, fine, you do it yourself. If you don't need my help, fine. You know, but it's the attitude is like, if a guy shows chivalry, it's not that he thinks that he's stronger or more masculine and better than a woman, or that she couldn't do it. It's the fact that that's what we were taught as kids. You know, I was taught as a kid to open the door for women, to pull out the chair for women, you know, to if I give up my chair for a woman, you know, to defend her if she's in danger. Right. That's what women do. Okay, but when we're in the midst of doing these things, and then we're told we don't need you. Okay, then you're telling us you don't need us to be gentleman-like. And then now
specific woman. The problem is I think the biggest problem that we have as genders is the generalizations. That's the problem, because I appreciate everything you just said, right? I'm very accommodating when I'm in a man's space as well. But it's like there are a lot of, you know, rats that are running around with penises. And then it's like I have to put my guard up with them, but I always got to check myself and say, Jen, not all men are like this. You know, men that are great, that are positive, that are doing their thing. So it's like you have to check yourself. And I think these spaces make it dangerous for us sometimes, because we'll take one or two incidents and then we'll throw it on the entire gender.
No, I agree. And I think we could get really lost in these conversations about these topics, because we are explaining behavior that we observe from other people. And we're going, hey, we saw women act like this, or we see men act like this. And it's a true statement, because they are men and women act those ways. But what I'm saying is from an accumulative, you know, an accumulative factor that we see is we're seeing. Here's a question for you, Jen. If more men acted gentleman-like, would more women? What would be the reason why more women would suddenly want to be more ladylike?
Honestly, I don't think either is going to happen, because
No,
hypothetically,
if me and Haran get a program right now, and we just said, this is the course of how to become a gentleman, and every guy's enrolled. Now, every guy is a successful gentleman, right? Mm-hmm. When you have women still not acting like ladies, what would be the benefit of that? It has to be a both. Do you know what I'm saying? The correction has to be.
I totally understand you. And there are a lot of people now women. There are a lot of women now pushing femininity and teaching. I mean, I did a 7 ways you could easily submit to a man. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of women that are pushing femininity. I don't see, and this is online, and I believe that a lot of women are pushing it because they know it equals super chats, right? Because men like to hear women tell other women that they should be more womanly, right? So I think it's a hustle, which is fine, right? If it
I
works,
think it's a hustle too, but I will.
No, it's a good thing, but I don't see. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Throw it in the chat. I'd love to check out the channel if it exists. I haven't seen any channels where men are telling men to be gentlemen with women without bashing women. I haven't seen it. I don't think one exists. If it does, please correct me. If you're catching this show on the replay, please throw it in my comments. What show have you seen where men are not complaining about women, but telling men, this is how you're more of a gentleman? Open the door, buy her flowers, do this, massage her back, ask her how they. I haven't seen one channel like that. Now, you tell me how many channels are calling women bitches and rude and not feminine, then, we'll be here all fucking day and we'll have a million channels to talk about. But where are men getting information to be gentlemen?
Here's one. Here's one channel that I think every guy should watch, and his name's Ryan Stone. Okay, and couple what was about maybe 9 months ago, maybe a little more than that. He was doing this recap, and he was telling a story, and he was getting some information. I want to say it was off of a Reddit, like a marriage red pill Reddit post thing, and so, and I'm paraphrasing the story. So this guy, you know, him and his wife haven't been freaky in a while, and you know, because the kids and work, and usually, like, she always has an excuse, you know, for not being intimate, tired, kids, work, whatever. Um, so he goes up to her, like the room where she's in, she's working, and he's like, "Hey, do you have time to take a quick break?" She's like, "Yeah," and he starts going down on her, and then he finishes. It's done. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And he's like, and she's like, "Oh, what about you?" He goes, "No, we gotta go pick up the kids from school. You'll come down in stockings tonight, and you can take care of me later." She's like, "Okay, whatever." Later that night, he forgot about it, and she comes down in stockings, and she's giving him a blowy, right? And his hands are really cold, and he's fondling her, and she's like, "Could you warm up your hands?" And he's like, "No," and he's like still fondling her, and she's like, "Could you please warm up your hands? I can't do it." You know, so when he's fondling her with these really cold hands, and then she's mad, she's like, "I'm done," and then he's like trying to be like, "Oh, you want to play around?" Like, and then he comes back at this guy and he goes, "Look, you're an idiot. Your wife decided to come downstairs and give you an unsuspected blowy, and all she asked you to do was warm up your hands. You idiot. Why don't you just warm up your hands? She's doing something for your benefit. It wasn't a control thing. It wasn't her trying to control how you were going to have sex with her. It was, she was asking a simple question to warm up hands, you know?" And so he does really good at coming down on people that think this super red pill, like, "Oh yeah, I gotta be super alpha Chad." Like, he will get on the
And what's his name? Ryan what?
Ryan Stone.
Ryan Stone.
To the point of that being made right there, I believe the point is that was being made is he could have just very quickly just let her have it.
Yes.
A lot of these dudes, the problem is that they just don't know how to let women have it sometimes.
Yep.
Like for instance, you know what I mean? I don't engage in these loud, wild, you know what I mean, visceral arguments with women online. That's just not in my nature. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I don't do that with a woman in public. You know what I mean? Now I've had some arguments with women in private, but you know what I mean, I don't do that in public spaces because I just don't see any reasoning behind it. Now, you know, a lot of dudes won't let that happen because they feel if they do not engage in that behavior, they're letting a woman have something, and it's ruining their manhood. It's questioning their manhood and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? I'm gonna look like less of a man if I don't just basically berate and destroy this woman in public. When in
Is that
actuality, you're doing the
the
complete
Ryan
opposite.
Stone?
What's
R-I-N.
up?
R-I-N.
R-I-A-N.
R-I-A-N. So that's not the same Ryan Stone.
No, this
Oh,
guy.
I was about to say, man, you
What
guys
the
looking up some dude. You guys looking up some dude from prison.
No, but here's the thing, and I actually, to go back to the topic and the question you brought up earlier, could there be a concern where someone in control becomes controlling? And yes, there is. When they don't see, guys don't like to be wrong. As soon as they admit that they're wrong, they feel like they lose control. And they're like, "Oh shit, I lost control. I'm not right all the time. Dang it." You know, like, no. You can be wrong and still maintain control. I was wrong. We'll do it your way. That's fine. It works. It's great. It benefits us. It still benefits what we're doing. And when guys are like overly, no, we're doing this way no matter what. This is the way we're doing it. I said so. they're controlling. But there's a difference. When you have control, your partner is in agreement with you. Okay, I think that's key. Like there is this understanding, like, okay, Jen's running the show. She's in control of the show. We are operating under these premises that she has for this show. She's in control. That's fine. We can work with that. Controlling will be trying to be domineering and taking over your show and be like, no, Jen, this is how you're going to run your show.
Well, yeah, I've had those guys up here. They didn't last long, but I've had them.
those are bad actors. You know what I'm saying?
They don't listen.
I really think anybody that wants control over more than themselves probably has a psychological problem.
Right.
So here's the thing to what you said, because I'm old school. I don't mind a man being in control of the relationship. The problem I've run into in my life is men wanting control who were better at control than I was. That's been my issue. If I'm coming in any way, shape, or form on a 50-50 type of thing, if I can make better decisions than you when you're talking to certain people and I'm constantly being your vision, don't get me wrong. I truly believe women are supposed to be a complement to a man, right? A sounding board, a confidant. But I don't feel like I should be the guy in your life, your bestie, who's constantly telling you how to move, shake and move, because then I start seeing you as my equal. And once that happens, I'm not going to accept that you're going to control anything, right?
Okay, so here's the thing, Jen. I want you to hold that.
Where a woman has to have seen a man in control successfully for me to say, okay, you take control. Other than that, I cannot.
See, Jen, okay. Now hold that for one moment.
I'm holding.
I totally understand.
That's Sister George. Let me say hi to the lady. What's up, Sister George? Her show is off the hook. Thank you for the super chat, lady. Come up if you want, okay? Because I almost beat these guys up by myself. Go ahead, Haran, and I want to welcome Tone to the panel. How are you, Tone? All the way from what? London, is it?
Oh, how are you?
Very, very well, darling.
It's me, T. Yeah, we talk all the time. It's me, just a different name on.
Yeah, when you said Tony, I'm like, I know like 20 Tonys. What Tony?
You know, the London one.
Yes, I know.
Don't worry anyway.
Now, but when you first said Tony, I was like, what Tony? What Tony?
I don't worry about it.
So yeah. So to hold what you're saying, Jen, this is one of the reasons why, based on your DNA, you are psychologically drawn to men who are your intellectual better, or men who are taller than you, because you're looking up. You know what I mean? When a woman looks up, has to look up psychologically or physically to a man, that is the power dynamic. You know what I mean? There's something in the back of her mind that says, okay, this man has the leverage that I'm fine with him having in the relationship. When a woman is looking straight or down at you, that's when the problems start. You know what I mean? And most often when a woman is looking right at you or looking down at you, you know what I mean? Many relationships that I've seen, you know what I mean, it doesn't really work out well for the guy.
Listen, I almost blew up the 4th of July fireworks. Why don't men understand that? They're so busy and sensitive about, oh, your height is your height. It is because women like looking up to a man. We equate it. It is synonymous with you're bigger than me and stronger than me. And that's what I want. What the fuck? Why do people understand
there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't have a problem with it. As long as women have to accept I am a preferences. Like I like proportion. If you're not proportionate, don't look at me. You know?
And look at it. It is what it is.
That's also, in my opinion, that's also innate.
Yeah.
Right. Right, wide hips and all that and whatever it is, yes, that is innate.
So like when I say yes, I'm fat phobic, you're right. Heifers. I don't like
what?
He just came out and said that. Hey, I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
Look, if you got 2 chins and you look like you and get some cereal milk from you, no, girl. It's not working. You're not for me. Now you may be for somebody else, and that's fine. But just like Jen likes tall guys,
at least, yeah, just taller than. Listen, it's not a great feat. I am 5'3". At least be taller than me. It's not a great feat.
So if you're dating, you need to be at least 5'5". Got it. You got to be at least 5'5", guys.
I mean, if a dude is 5'3" and he hollering at Jen, I mean, I would imagine that he can stand on his wallet.
He better
at least probably.
Correct. Give me a basic, but you know, even 5'5". Yeah, I don't know about a 5'5" because I throw heels on. And I'm like,
Jen has a 6 foot minimum.
5'11" with some Timberlands on. How about that? Is that better, guys?
Okay.
5'11" with some Timberlands on.
Damn, she's already cold. But like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just, here's the funny thing. That's you controlling what you like, and there's nothing wrong.
You know, I don't run around the streets, you know what I mean, looking for men that are 6 feet tall, but at least there's presence, you know what I mean? There's confidence. There's, do you go to the gym? If you're going to be 5'5", do you work out at least? I have to feel like I am with something more powerful than me, stronger than me, and smarter than me in some kind of way. Now, I'm intuitive.
I mean, Glenn, if you look at it like this, Glenn, even when you go to the gym, I go to the gym myself. When we go to the gym, psychologically, you know what I mean, even though it's not necessarily a good thing, the guys that are built like twigs or like 5 feet, you know what I mean, we don't necessarily respect them as much, who are guys who are built, you know what I mean, like, you know what I mean, they're ready for some action. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
We equate that to manhood.
Tristan got me crying. He said 5'5", they make men that small. Yeah.
So, yeah, they make men even smaller. I think that's taller than Kevin Hart. I think that's Kevin Hart's size, right?
No, I think Kevin Hart's 5'4". But
oh wow, what a big difference. What?
No, but I mean, like, I think he's 5'4". I know somebody about 5'4".
Well, Prince was look, man, Prince was like 5'2", and he had some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life.
But he was standing on his wallet.
Good point. Another good point.
It is. Like, you know, like, when I go to the gym, like, I lift some god awful weight. Okay. Like,
I saw your Instagram. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I'll leg press. I'm already leg pressing over 800 pounds now. You know.
Oh, dope.
You know, I bench press over 400. So yeah, like when I get somebody to spot me, I look around the gym.
Right, exactly.
And I'm like, nobody here could hold my bar, let alone
right.
Actually, like it. Hello, anybody? Hey, anybody?
Right.
Trainers, I'm like, yo, come on. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, 400. They're like, damn, you're bench pressing what I squat. I'm like, I know. So I know you can do it.
Get in there.
You know, but like, you know, there is something to that. But there's also something, okay, when we go back to, I'm trying to steer us back to control.
We're gonna, but I have to acknowledge this because I'm loving this. This is the first time ever men acknowledge that it's okay. Okay, I've been so bashed for this issue. Ill Doctrine says there's a psychological reason many women take selfies looking up, and I notice I do that now that he said it. And many men take menacing selfies looking down. See, it is innate. We just want someone that's bigger than us, fellas. Get over it. Take the trigger out of it. It is life. It is nature.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
And there's nothing wrong with the woman having a preference. All I'm saying is, guys, it's not women only have preferences that you just got to accept anything that comes along your way. That's stupid. Guys, you get to make a choice too. Okay? Like, look, do you like big bone girls or do you like...
That's safe, Glenn. That's safe, big bone.
I mean, do you like that? Your choice, you know, like, or everything in between. That's totally your prerogative. Women like tall guys that are muscular.
Right.
I know some big girls that are really small guys, like Kevin Hart size. And I think I think they have like some issues. I think they like to abuse these little men.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good point.
There isn't a wallet in the world that Kevin Hart could stand on where I'd be like, yeah, listen, I can't do it. I could. He's like,
That's 120 mil, 150 mil.
no, I'm good.
Oh damn!
And you know what? He just side note, he just made $100 million deal with this tequila company.
Yeah, no, because here's the thing, I'd be just like Jeff Bezos' chick when I'd see Leonardo DiCaprio and I'd be like, hey, you know what I mean? I want to
No, she ain't say, hey, she damn near asked to suck his dick right there and there.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, hold my purse. Let me pull my hair.
That was terrible. Like the tits were all on him and everything. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know. Anyway, welcome, Tone, to the panel. What say you, sir, about are you in control or just controlling? The topic today was brought to us by Glenn.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Great. We can hear
great.
you great.
Okay. Yeah, good to chat to you again. No, basically, just two things really. I mean, one, I'll give you one very good example. Yeah, you know, using an analogy, good female friend of mine, seeing a guy who's a multi-millionaire, totally loaded. Yeah, and that's the real reason she's there. We know this. Yeah, but a key thing that I've noticed, is that he gives impression. He's very domineering in the sense that he's like, oh, don't talk to this guy. Don't talk to that person. I'm concerned about your past. He has controlling elements. However, how the relationship plays out itself is like she's in control. For example, in a relationship, there's what goes on and what really goes on. So what I'm saying is, like, technically speaking, I mean, it's a crazy social dynamic in the sense that, you know, he's obviously, as they say, he wears the trousers, but she wears the belt, as it were. So does that make sense? like say for example, you, Jen, for example, let me simplify it. You're seeing a guy who says, okay, no, he's using okay, he's an example. Yeah, well, no, go on. But do you see the point I'm trying to make?
In a way.
Okay. Now, what I'm trying to say is, a lot of men try to play the man role of being dominant when really they're the ones who are submissive. So, for example, if a man in this scenario, how it plays out, if she was to say walk away or bluff him, he'd be the one running back. So, on the surface, he's the one who's calling the shots, playing the superficial man role. But in reality, if she walks away, he'd be the one running back. Does that make sense to you? It's a deep dynamic.
It makes sense, but gentlemen, Glenn, Herman, what do you think about that? Do you think it's a pseudo control or pseudo power that men are displaying?
In that
it's
case,
deep.
In the case Tony just laid out, that is a man that doesn't have control over his frame.
Exactly.
And is everything. Okay.
Of course.
You
masculine frame, yes.
You have to have frame as a man.
Exactly. Standard.
If my girl walked out on me, I'll be like, okay, hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave. You know.
Okay. But okay. You raised the point earlier. Sorry to cut you, bro. Sorry to cut you. My bad. You raised the point earlier about what was it you said? You said quite a few things actually, which are quite interesting. But something in particular, I can't remember what, but I was like, hold on, bro. Something about the 50s and how things were back in the day when there's more of a patriarchal structure. When you obviously, the man went to work, women stayed at home. It's like the 50s. Sorry to pull you up. You made some good points, and I appreciate that. But I think things have kind of moved on now. You know what I mean? And to be honest, I personally, like my partner, very intelligent woman. She's on point. Does the job, peace and quiet, humorous, feminine, blah, 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 blah. But the point I'm making is, obviously, I haven't got time for no woman to be following me. You know what I mean? I haven't got time for no woman to be depending on me and, it's the same thing they say about men some men aren't on their purpose. they'll be pursuing their female, seeing how she is, and they'll invest their livelihood in that female as opposed to what they should be doing. Make sense?
Oh yeah.
Like the best example I can give you, the classic example. A man says to me, it's happened so many times over the years, was with my girl. I like her so much. I phoned in to work to say, I'm not coming in today. I made an excuse, and she went mad. Yeah. The man says, I don't understand why she went mad, because I'm trying to show, I love her. I'm going to spend a day with her. I said, the reason she went mad at you is because you're not on your purpose, which is work.
Yep.
Because it's about you. It's about you. It's your individual goal, and your intention is your work. And that's you. That's a separate divide. So you're together, but there's a divide. You're together, but there's a divide. Hence why I say I ain't got time for no woman to be following me, because you should be on her own thing. You want to go out and go out with your friends? Go out with your friends. You want to go male strip club? You go male strip club. You suck a dick though. There's a problem. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But hey,
the way
go on, bro. Sorry.
Like if you
go on, bro. Sorry.
If you value the relationship, you're not going to put yourself in a situation where you might end up sucking a dick at a strip club. So you just
listen. Listen. You don't know that. You see, women are spontaneous. A man doesn't know what a woman gets up to. You know. In many no, I got to cut you here, bro. You can be a woman. You can be a woman for 15, 10 years, yeah. But in a certain situation, she can be doing certain things you wouldn't expect her to do.
You're right.
Keeping it, as they say in America, keeping it $1.50.
I paused it to answer a text, and now we're talking about sucking dicks. What is going on? What happened?
No. They're talking about sucking dicks.
No, first of all,
no. Okay. If a woman, listen. I know women inside out, yeah. And if some women I know go to a strip club, I know they'll be gazing. They're probably doing some freakiness, yeah. It's cool. But end of the day, I know it is what it is. But that's what I'm saying. It's all about knowing people. That's the bottom line, you know. And some people, I want to go and change this man. He's ideal for me, but if there's a but, he's not ideal for you. Oh. And to add to that, someone like America, yeah. When I was there like a couple of years back in Atlanta, a lot of it's about the look, okay. And okay, you better have a girl, she's stunning. If she's not on point, her pussy ain't keeping you there, because there's another one who looks just like her, if not better, around the corner. So the pussy thing, like you said earlier, pussy power, that's what controls a man. It used to. Maybe in some areas where there's a small majority of women that you like, but someone like America, Atlanta, Halle Berry, Toni Braxton, whoever you want to say, is around the corner. She's not on point. I'll get the next one. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying, women have.
Sorry, bro.
What I'm saying about women have control over pussies, that men will sacrifice their frame for the opportunity.
Disagree.
And I think that's the problem. Oh, there's absolutely. I mean, there's a court case right now that everybody's watching that it tolerates that. Amber Heard,
okay,
been so good that Johnny Depp would, put up with poop in his bed. I don't know how many times for it.
Bro, let me speak. If I'm Johnny Depp, if I listen, I hear you, bro. I love the comment, bro. But if I'm
Wait, Glenn, mi amor, stop you.
I've got to speak. Go on.
Johnny Depp and Amber, stop saying he put up with because he was a crackhead. That's what he put up with it.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Johnny Depp was doing cocaine. Johnny Depp makes way more money than to be out here smoking crack.
Okay.
Do not do my boy like that.
The best Hollywood
man
had
was doing cocaine.
Let me get
white man
who stayed with a woman after she shat his bed is just as insane.
Wait.
Exactly.
That wasn't a metaphor. She actually shit in the bed.
Yes,
that's madness.
Let me.
That's a madness.
There's guys.
I don't.
That's a madman.
That must be that gorilla grip. She must got that gorilla grip, man. That thing's gorilla grip. That slidey gorilla grip action. That thing will have you doing some things at 12 a.m. in the morning, man.
What I'm trying to get at is that guys are willing to complicate their lives by taking care of bad behavior of women and for the opportunity of sex. And that is surrendering control of their frame.
He can
And that
get women anywhere, bro. He can get any women. Johnny Depp can go out there and get women
No, no,
any
no, no,
part
no,
of the
no, no.
world,
Wait,
any
wait, wait, wait,
town.
wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Could you continue, Glenn?
Sorry, bro. Sorry to cut you, bro. Go on.
So men in general will do this, and and we see it all the time. It's not a big deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but like guys will complicate their lives for the opportunity to have sex with women, and when they do that, they give up control, and then they get mad when the girl leaves them, and they're like, "Well, I gave her everything." Well, you gave her all
Agreed.
the control,
That's a particular type of guy, but I agree. That's not all men. That's a particular type of guy. I fully agree. I've seen it happen. Yes.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying a lot of the guys that are crying on social media and saying
Right.
women ain't it and oh fuck all
He's right.
women,
He's
like
right.
are the guys that gave up control and had no frame control for their own life, and now they want to blame the woman for leaving them.
I've seen that happen.
And
You're correct. I agree. But that's not all men. But yeah, go on. Yeah.
what I'm saying to avoid that from happening is that the man maintains his frame control and chooses what he will and not accept in his life, for regardless of how great and amazing the woman's company is. If her
Mm-hmm.
sex is so great, but she's like $150,000 in debt with 10 kids and she wants you to take care of them, I'm sorry. I'm just saying I'll just have no sex. So I don't want 10 kids and I don't want $150,000 in
But
debt.
you wouldn't be there in the first place. You wouldn't be there in the first place, though. Any
Well, of course
accomplishment
I would.
wouldn't be there in the first place.
But I'm saying the average guy. We're talking about the average guy.
Yeah, he wouldn't be there in the first place either. He would need to. But no, in fact, that's dependent on a lot of things, on like environment, culture, and so forth, an opportunity that you get. That's
Well,
dependent on a lot of things.
what I'm referring to is that we have these spaces, these men's spaces and stuff like that. We have this women ain't shit and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys that are complaining that women ain't shit are guys that are not shit themselves, that have no control over their own life, and they allowed someone else to dictate their course of life. And then when that person is no longer there, they're complaining about her, like, well, she left me and I did all this for her. Well, you never had control over your life. You gave her the control, and now you're mad at her for that she disregarded you because she never wanted a man to have control. She wanted a man
Exactly. She never wanted that control in the first place. Agreed. Yes.
That's where when I say women want men that have control, but they don't want controlling men. And that's where I'm getting at. The whole point of this, that conversation was that women want a man that has control because control provides security. Security provides
Wait. Disagree again, because not that I disagree with you, but see, with the security element, yeah, the example I've given you, the man's worth over 30 million pounds, but he has no self-control, but she's still there, and most women would be there. So he has no self-control. He has no masculine frame, no self-control, but he's worth over 30 million pounds, and she's there.
Here's the difference is that I don't have to have 30 million pounds, but I still have control. And whoever want to be in my life will still be in my life, whether I have 13 million pounds or 13 pounds. It's the difference because control over my frame and what I'm going to do in my life. Right.
See that. But what I'm saying is, it's not that's not a general ballpark pick figure for all. But for you, yes, and for someone like myself, yes. Sorry, can you hear me? Sorry, bro. Sorry, go carry on. Sorry, my signal's dipped a bit here. Sorry.
No.
Let me go back and re-enter. Yeah, you guys carry on. Give me 2 minutes. Yeah, I'll come back and re-enter because my signal's dipped a bit. Go on. Okay, go on.
Okay. He'll be back.
Yeah. Jen, I mean, Glenn, can you repeat?
What happened, Haran?
No, I was saying, if Glenn can repeat some of the stuff he was saying. Because he sounded like he was making some good points in some areas.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
I was saying that guys that are on a lot of these male spaces, they sacrifice their whole lives for women, and then gave up the control. Like, happy wife, happy life. Just gotta do what the wife says to be happy. That's what I'm gonna do. In that mindset, if that's where you're thinking always, then you are giving up control. And then you're giving her the control that she never wanted in the first place. She wanted you to have control. She just wanted you to hear her opinions on things and actually take her thoughts into consideration when making this
I would say
decision.
that, yes.
But when
Right.
guys, no, happy wife, happy life, whatever she wants, and force her into this position of control that she never wanted, and then when she leaves them, guys get like all upset. They're on red pill. They're going to go into these MGTOW spaces and black pill spaces and say all women ain't shit. But the problem is, guys the guys never had control in the first place when they should have maintained control. I think women want to be listened and heard, but they don't want necessarily the control. They want their opinions to matter, but they don't want to have the control all the time in all the decision making. They want to be heard, not controlling. And then when guys end up saying, "Well, whatever she wants, she'll get," now you're forcing her into a position of control that she never wanted, and that could be very detrimental to relationships.
but what do you think that means, Glenn? When men, because I always took it tongue in cheek, when men say happy wife, happy life, do you really think that means they're giving up control to her, or they just don't want to hear her mouth, or what does that mean?
I think what that means is your frame is now her frame. So happy wife, happy life. So when I say frame, let me just explain this to everybody. Frame is the worldview that you process things from, information from, and what decision making you're going to do. Okay, so if I had a job that took me to Brazil for 6 months, I don't have to ask anybody whether I'm going to take the job or not. I'm just going to go, right? If I was in a relationship and let's say I go up to my girl, I'm like, "Hey, I got a job in Brazil. I'm going to take it. The promotion is great. It gives us more money and a better opportunity for my retirement. We're going to go." I'm not making that decision with her consent. I'm already making the decision. I'm informing her of the decision I'm making. Her choice is whether to come with or stay. That's up to her. But for me, that's my frame. I filter my decisions, what's best for me through my frame and my family. What's best for us, I filter that. Happy wife, happy life is, I got a job in Brazil, but my wife doesn't like Brazil. She wants to live here where it's costs more money. I actually am not going to get promoted more. Okay, I'm just going to stay here to please her. That's not having frame. That's actually giving her frame control. You're now filtering decisions based off what she will approve of, not what you want.
But if
And
she's
that's
your wife, but if she's your wife and she's like, "I don't want to move to Brazil," you just gonna like give her the walking papers?
no, I'll be like, "Well, I don't know where you're gonna go because I'm going to Brazil, and like, what do you want me to do? Like,
Look, in that particular situation, look, okay. Here's the thing. I'm a big proponent of you get involved with someone when you should always be growing as a person, but never get involved in a relationship unless you are in that moment the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of times people get involved with people and they get involved in these very codependent situations. And somewhere down the relationship, somewhere in the relationship, someone might get an epiphany where they realize they want to go in a particular direction and they want to find themselves, and they actually do the work to find themselves. And as they improve and so on and so forth, they realize that the version of themselves that they're about to become is completely out of the scope of the person that they're currently with.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And in a situation where it might be, yeah, happy wife, happy life, yeah, he might feel that way at that time. He might not be the best version of himself. I've seen guys get married and when they're literally in a slump. You know what I mean? They're not in the best space in their life. They just got married because they're literally afraid to be alone. But then what happens? I've seen said person go to a job, they start winning at that job. They start getting confident. Suddenly this guy's in the gym. Suddenly this guy's standing a lot more erect when he's walking down the street. And he wakes up one morning and then he looks at his woman and he's like, this is not where I want to be. This is not what's
Okay.
this is not now to be fair,
Listen,
I've seen the same thing happen with women. I've seen the same thing happen with women where women have woken up one day, and a lot of times they're 40, and they've woken up one day and they looked at the dude and they realized, no, I didn't really want this guy. I just wanted a kid. I just wanted a wedding. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. And these people say, I'm out. So again, you know what I mean? When you're married or when you're in a relationship with each other, just be mindful that you are in that moment the best version of yourself, and both of you have similar ideas and philosophies in terms of growing, because most of the time those people, they grow in similar directions for the sake of the relationship.
So I want to let me acknowledge two of these comments. This is becoming it's a shame because this is becoming one of my favorite panels right now because there's so much being dropped today. I'm gonna address something you said, Haran, that I get a lot of heat for. But first, let me acknowledge El Doctrine. A man invites a woman to be in his peace, not be his peace.
Yep.
In an associated way, a woman enjoys a controlled man, not a controlling man. And I see a lot of memes. Be his peace. I'm like, be his peace. What the fuck am I, a rabbi? No, you gotta have peace going on. Okay, before I even get there, I'm not gonna be a peace. I'm not your mama. Tristan says, to back up Glenn from one of my favorite movies, 300 Messenger, what makes this woman think she can speak among men, Queen Gorgo, because only Spartan women give birth to real men, which was one of my favorite lines ever, because that's something I would say. Like, bitch, don't question me over here. We Spartans, right? But going back to what you said, Haran, I love what you said because I get a lot of heat from it, I guess because I'm a woman saying it, but I always said, you know, if you guys are married and now you're in a wheelchair and she wants to leave, why should she be looked at as a horrible human being? That is not what she signed up for. She signed up with the guy, for the guy with the legs.
Hey, look.
Okay?
It is what it is.
If a man marries a woman who was a 9, a 10, and now you're fat, he has every right to say, I want a girl that's fit. I don't fault people for that. I don't bash people for that. You like what you like. That's what you signed up for. Similarly, what you said, at a certain point in your life, I've dated people when I was at a certain point in my life. And when I came out of it, I'm like, how the fuck did I ever date you? Like, doesn't even make sense where my mind is now. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But people make you like the biggest evil person on the planet. But I'm like, it is nature. You sign up for what you sign up for, or you date according to your status or your situation or your mindset at that time. So if you should leave, right, because you graduated to something else, there's nothing wrong with that. Stop shaming people to stay where they don't want to be.
Look, Jen, I'll tell you something right now. One of the reasons why we have, and I totally agree with what you just said, one of the reasons why we have back and forth a lot of times when it comes to situations like that, people don't admit that men and women are both equally shallow, if one is not more so than the other. We're shallow, okay? People are physical, and it's one of the reasons why personally I'm not very mean to fat women. You know what I mean? And one of the reasons why I'm not very mean to fat women and so on, it's not my thing. You know what I mean? You're who you are. But I've seen fat women change their trajectory and literally just become 8s and 9s within a year. Now, The same dudes that was probably curving her with their jokes and so on and so forth, the same guys were trying to get at her. You know what I mean? She let a couple of dudes, you know what I mean, in her space, but she used them, and she basically snapped them in half. And I'm not mad at her for that, because it's kind of like, well, you know what? They wasn't really checking for you anyway. Your situation changed. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It is what it is. Now, me personally, like I said, one of the reasons why I treat everybody on equal ground is like, you don't know when you're going to have your day. And you don't know when that other person is going to have their day, man. Because, look, listen, you know what I mean? Look, man, as a man, every man, I don't care what he tells you, if he's a real man, every man done been down bad. Every man done been down bad. Every man didn't have the dry spell. Every man didn't have the situation where he's questioning what's next. You know what I mean? Every man has that one girl in his roster that was like, he don't want to mention. You know what I mean? To too many people. So, you know what I mean? You just have to be mindful and admit that, yeah, we're all shallow to some degree. Some are more so than others, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Let me do this super chat break. Thank you so much, Il Doctrine. I always appreciate you. And then I'm going to address Don Levon with this little fairy tale he got going on in the comments. So Il Doctrine says there's 5 basic relationship types. 1, collaborative. 2, cooperative. 3, compliant. 4, submissive. And 5, competitive. Number 5 makes me cringe. Expressions of control between partners are in 4 and 5, the 2 least effective relationship types. Thank you for saying that, because 5 made me cringe. So those are the 5 basic relationship types, according to Il Doctrine. And Don Levon asks, but Jen, what about unconditional love? I'm glad he put the laughing emoji. I'm glad he put the laughing emoji, because I do not believe in unconditional love. I think it sells a lot of diamonds and Hallmark cards, but it is not real. It does not exist.
I'm telling you right now, unconditional love is a lie that Disney sold you. Go get your money back, okay? Because Disney be lying. There's no unconditional love. I'll tell you right now, right? No problem saying this. If my girl got 200 plus pounds, I'm out. I love the shit out of her. I'm out. Deuces.
Why is that so hard to understand for people? I even see people like, well, let's say Kevin Hart, since we spoke about him earlier. Like, oh, when he didn't have money, he was married to this person. Now he has money, he's married to that person. That's what happens. Like, people change. Phases in your life, it changes you. Money changes you. Environment changes you. It changes you.
She didn't level
up. I think that, it's really... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
People leave spouses because they're no longer like-minded. Maybe when he was broke and he was a nobody, and she didn't have, maybe she didn't have ambitions for herself, and it worked for them because he was a nobody, she was a nobody. Okay, now he's a somebody, and she never leveled up and became a somebody of status in his eyes. She probably still, I don't know her, but if she's like, I don't want to become anything. I don't want to be a compliment to you. And then he's like, I want somebody complimentary. I want somebody, when they see me, they see her, they go, that looks good. Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that. I personally, I think unconditional love is a joke. And whoever, preaches it is pretty sad. Because even if you want to go biblically, there's biblical references of unconditional love, but there's always a way you have to achieve it. You have to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior to get salvation and unconditional love from God. So there's still an action you have to do. You just don't get it. There's still something you have to do. You still have to meet the standard in order to receive this quote unquote unconditional love or salvation. You have to be willing to bend the knee and say this and, believe it in your heart, or you don't get this. So there's still a requirement, even when it comes to unconditional love, in order to quote unquote receive it. So this whole unconditional love is like this. I'm going to slap you. I'm going to cheat on you with your sister. and then you still got to be able to take me back. Okay?
I think the term unconditional love is a first of all, it's a contradiction within itself because love only emerges based on a series of repetitive conditions.
Yeah.
Okay, so how could to say that something is unconditional means that it exists within a vacuum, and no energy exists within a vacuum. You know what I mean? Yes, if you no longer are doing the things that cause the person to fall in love with you in the first place, then that person will not love you or to the extent that you would want them to. Now, there are conditions based on that. Now, a mother and a father are most likely going to love their children unconditionally, even if the kid is a screw up, because at the end of the day, that's my kid. You know what I mean? The condition and the status is that this is my blood relative. So most times out of not. Now I have seen parents who do hate their children, but I do see most of the times I do see parents who are like, yeah, my kid's an idiot, but that's still my kid. You know what I mean? So they still hang out there. Honestly, in my travels, it's more so the women who hang on to that kid longer than the man. Like men, they tend to know when the kid ain't shit by the time he's 17, and they wash their hands of him. You know what I mean? Or even her. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know, so unless it's a blood relative, then things get a little bit we don't know, it can go either way. But if it's a person you met, you have no real tie to that person, especially if you have no kids with that person, no, the idea of unconditional love is actually foolish. And it's that concept that is skewing the perception of so many men in so many spaces where they have these unrealistic expectations and they put this unrealistic, unfair pressure on people, their partners, where they feel like, oh, this woman is supposed to. And here's the funny thing, because I see men.
Syndrome. It's the struggle buddy syndrome.
I see men say, I want this woman to love me unconditionally, but the protection that they supply for her is conditional, which I think is rather funny.
I want to address this. Don Levon said, because I say this often and men get mad at me, but he says, my mom loves me unconditionally. But if we went from a penthouse to a homeless shelter, my wife will not stay with me. Your wife is not required to, right? She didn't carry you in her womb. And I tell this to men all the time. They get pissed off. I'm like, a woman is not required to show her love by struggling with you. It shouldn't be a requirement. And that's why I always say, go back to your mama's house. Go back to your mama's house, because your mother's the only one that's required to love you no matter what. Women are not required to love you no matter what. It is crazy to me how so many men think you got to take me as is no matter what, or you're not a ride or die. What?
I'm going to say something that's going to piss off a lot of women and men. All right, here we go. Women wait at the finish line for the winners. And if you're not a winner in her eyes, she's going to leave you.
Look, man.
I mean,
look, I tell you all the time, Jen, cold world, dress warm, man.
and you know what? That should be motivation for guys to be fucking winners. Who wants to be a loser? Who wants to?
But Glenn, hold it for 1 second. I think we need to really be. Here's another uncomfortable point that I don't think a lot of men consider. The uncomfortable point is that I don't think a lot of men. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of men, but there are a number of men who just aren't really built for the smoke. And we don't really take that into consideration as much as we should. They're just not genetically built for the smoke.
You're saying that men are not built for smoke?
No. I said there's a number of men that aren't genetically built for the smoke.
Men. Let's not consider them
Pardon?
men. Call them boys still, because boys have to
grow. Well, yes, we can still call them boys, but if they are adults and they're visually grown men, it's assumed that yes, there's these expectations on this, adult male that he should be, ready for the smoke. And no, some dudes just ain't ready for the smoke. Just like, you know what I mean, and I have those problems too when I'm actually benching. Like I get up and I'm like, damn, is there anybody here who can spot me? And you know, I'm looking around and these guys are built like twigs, or these dudes are skinny fat. And it's like, you know what I mean, these guys aren't built for the condition, you know what I mean, that I need for them to be in to help me out. Now, that's nothing on them. That's nothing really on them. It could be like, look, genetically, they're just not built, you know what I mean, for what I need for them to be built for. And I think that a lot of times we don't take that in consideration. That some dudes they just ain't, you know what I mean, ready for it, man.
I like what Joanna says. Joanna asked a good question. She says, I know unconditional love is and this hurts a lot of people, by the way, but the reality of what love is and isn't. Joanna says, I know unconditional love is a lie. However, what kind of people would you accept and hope accept you for a life partner? Do you believe in long-term relationships? And Don Levon sounds disenchanted here. I mean, I'm sorry, Michael De Jesus sounds disenchanted here. He says, wait, is that the comment? He said a comment about Kim. Okay, this one. He says, based on how everyone defines love in general, makes me wonder, truthfully, if people even have the ability to love at all. I love truly, madly, deeply, but I do not believe that that means there has to be a forever attached to it, and I do not believe that there has to be a homeless shelter attached to it. That's all. I'm pretty simple.
Can you put up the other comment, the first one?
Yeah, absolutely. That was Joanna. Bingo.
So I believe love is something that is beautiful, and a thing that we have the opportunity to experience, and we have the opportunity to nurture it and let it grow when you're in a couple situation. But it takes both parties. I think as soon as somebody starts coming out of pocket and they're not doing the things that they were doing and not providing into the relationship what the partner needs from the relationship, the partner's going to look elsewhere. Okay? Sorry. This is how the reality it is. If I went in Jen's fridge and they had no food in Jen's house every time I went over there, I'm going to go eat somewhere else.
Oh, word.
Start with her. Okay? So if you're not getting what you need out of a relationship, eventually you're going to go somewhere else to get it. Yep. And that's because either you didn't communicate with your partner your needs, or that they just stopped giving you what you needed in the first place. You know, like, so the only way that long-term relationships work is through communication. Hey, I still need this from you. I need you to provide this for me. If this is going to work, like, we need to be working together. It's unity. You know, if there's not both giving into it and one person's just taking, the other person look for something else elsewhere. And, you know, there's a lot of women hate this, like, oh, my man cheated on me and he went and slept with her. Well, honestly, ladies, realistically, most of y'all don't put out as much as your men would want you to. And if you guys do, you make it like, fine. Fine.
Bro.
Over with.
Damn.
Oh, yeah. You know, and then because I get telling me this all the time. Like, I have a friend that told me, like, look, yo, I cheated on my wife. I feel horrible about it. And he told me, I was like, and I blew this girl's back out. She was all buck wild crazy. He's like, it reminded me of how my wife used to fuck me. And he goes, now she fuck me like that. Like, she just, it's like a chore to her.
A chore, yeah. Is that what to say? Yeah. He's right.
That's getting terrible. Joanna, to answer your question in short, yes, I do believe in long-term relationships. I just don't believe that every person you're in a relationship with means that it has to be a forever. Mo Miamana says, laughing out loud at Haran, it's a cold world, bundle up. Ill Doctrine seconds that. I'm telling you, after Haran said that, let me tell you, I tell everybody I should know. It's a cold world, better dress warm, bitch. Okay? It's cold out here. Like, I love that saying.
It's cold, man.
That is what it is.
You know what? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's funny talking about long-term relationships and love and all those kind of things. They say one of the hardest places to date people is London. Like, over here, there's a myth. You see a lot of like multiracial couples, and it's, you know, in some aspects you see certain bars where there's black people, white people, all kinds of people. But a lot of people say this, especially American people say it's very difficult to date in London. You know what I mean? But you know, but side note, back to the point about long term relationships, long term relationships. Yeah, I think a lot of people, they meet someone, the guy meets the girl meets the guy, and some people get carried away at the moment, or they think too far ahead at such a short period of time. Like again, my female friend, the guy with all this money, but he's already talking to her about getting engaged, and it's only been 5 months, you know. And she's like, "Wow, what is this?" You know what I mean? Pretty woman, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. And a lot of people meet someone and they have this idea in their head that, you know, this person's the right one for me. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You got all these bright ideas, but over a short period of time, you don't know that person. And that's a key thing. You know, you don't. It takes a while to get to know someone. In my opinion, it takes about a good 2-3 years to get to know someone properly. But some people are so much in a rush, whether it's because of their age or because a woman is nearer that point of, you know, not being able to have children. All these other factors. A lot of people have this subconscious thing which they impose on a relationship too early, in my opinion. What's your view on that?
I think it's a scarcity mentality. I think a lot of, especially for men, it's
Mm,
like, oh my God, this woman gave me the box. I better make her my wife because I may never get another
good
box
point.
again. You know, I think part of it is the scarcity mentality.
Mm, yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
What?
think one of the things is I think I can tell, man, like yourself, you've got a certain level of game, like myself. Well, not wrong word to use. You have a certain level of knowledge and an application as opposed to the average man. So the average everyday kind of guy I know and get examples I can give, they actually goes further than that. They think because she gave me the box, I now have control over her. Because she gave me the P, the box as you put it, she's now submitted to me, therefore I'm in control. And when they realize that's not the case, that's when all kinds of problems start. That is the fundamental trigger to a lot of these guys' problems.
I
Trust
think
me.
I think I agree with you. I think it's also a little different though
Well,
because I don't know. I can't speak for Jen or any woman, but I can
yeah.
speak for women that I've encountered with. Um, if you know what to do, and you know if you can take them to levels that they have never been before,
All right. See,
you
that's
they,
real talk.
they have a hard time letting that go. They're like, oh my,
Irene.
oh,
Yep.
I went to cloud 9, 10, 11, 1,000. It's like
Yep.
my bed was a regular bed, now it's a water bed. Like, you
Yeah.
know, that type of, like when you do it that,
Yeah.
different. But I think it's the same thing for women. Women do that with men too. Like, oh my God, she did me so good, my toes curled. Like, you know, like
Listen, real talk.
so
Realist. I mean, go on. Yeah, I mean,
I,
I get an example. Before I go, I'll give an example of that. Yeah, I'm laughing because it's happened in real life very recently. Maybe, yeah, a particular woman I know. Like again, mundane life, married for so long, blah 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 blah. Married for so long, 10 years, mundane life. Man comes home, that mundane thing, look after the kids. The moment she bucked up on, you know, a man like myself, you know, she's having best time of her life. Sex in the park, late night, adventurous sex, this, that. Women love it. That's why what you said is so true. Yeah. When a man takes a woman to another level, she ain't letting that go. She'll never let that go. And not many men know this. And that's the reality, I'm afraid.
no,
Real talk. Well said, my brother. Well said, Glenn. Well said.
and what happens is a lot of women become alpha widowed if they do
Aye.
that guy, if they do lose that guy.
What does that mean, alpha widowed?
Okay, let's say you were with this guy that was like the shit, right? You know, he had his everything in a row, and his stroke game, girl, you hit higher notes than Mariah, all right?
Shit.
Then all of a sudden, for some reason, the relationship breaks off, it doesn't work out. That guy is now the standard for every guy.
Right. Thank you. Yes.
Oh, he's sweet, he's nice, but damn, this guy over here,
Real talk.
this guy barely getting off the fucking lamps from the laundry
Oh
pan.
my God, that happened to me. I'm leaving this panel. It's too much truth on here today.
This is real talk. This is the real part. This is the realness now. This is the realness now. This is the realness. The realness. Glenn, salute, brother, salute.
I had to see for years and years and years. I was like, where's I want that other feeling.
Listen, when a woman meets a real deal Holyfield, that's when the game changes.
Now,
and no man, listen, 9 men out of 10 cannot follow up. They cannot.
Damn.
Real talk, Jen. Glenn, well said, my brother. Well, God bless you. Well said.
That most men ain't ready for the smoke.
Listen, we invented the smoke, my brother. He did. The smoke. He's right.
That makes that's a whole other show within itself. Like how
the smoke
with the alpha that widowed her. That's deep.
That's a lyric. That's a bar. That's well said. That's a lyric.
Like any little characteristic that somebody new had that was I could compare to the old guy. I was like, maybe this is it. No.
Well, Jen, I have a theory.
Help me
especially
out.
when it comes to
Help
women.
me out.
Especially when it comes to women, and I watch. If you really want to, and maybe even Jabari could actually attest to this, because I understand he's in marketing. Like men and women, you could tell a lot about men and women based on their buying habits, and even how often they buy things. Like men, we have to constantly push ourselves to buy new stuff because we can get really bogged down in routine and sit with the old reliable and have it hanging around knowing damn well we should be replacing it and so on and so forth, but it's reliable, it's routine, we're used to it. We have a lot of relationships in our lives where we have it like that. Women, when they're shopping, they don't pay attention to an algorithm called optimal stopping, which means what is the optimal point where you should stop searching for that thing, that new thing, and just say, hey, this is the best thing for me to get right now. Let me just leave with this. A lot of times, even when I was younger and I was walking around with my mom and she's shopping, she would always say, wow, this looks great, but I wonder what's on the third floor. She goes to the third floor. Oh, this looks great. I wonder what's on the fifth floor. And then I'm like, why didn't she just making a decision? These are all great options. You know what I mean? And I've seen women do that. And I've seen women do that in their lives. When they can't necessarily focus on the decision that they actually made. They're always worried about, well, I wonder what's around the corner. No, just pay attention to what you got right here. And a lot of times, the moment that the thing that they have loses its luster, then they say, hey, let me just go around the corner. And this is one of the main reasons why women's clothing are not made as sturdy as men's clothing, because they know that women are always going to shop for the new thing. They're always going to get up and look for something better than what they have in their closet.
Haran, but then it sounds like
that's why most men cheat. That's why most men cheat. That's the real reason, because they know women are flaky.
Wait one second.
That's
let
why
her talk.
most women cheat, actually. Haran,
No, they trust. No, if listen. You know why he's right? I tried to cut you. You know why he's right? Earlier, when you date someone, so go on, carry on.
Don't cut. What the?
Sorry.
Don't cut. Haran, but there has to be hope for the fellas. That means that there's no hope for the fellas. If women are that, indecisive, then how does a man keep her attention?
There is. Okay, let me tell you, it's like this. For a guy to be a real man that wants to have his woman in his frame, you have to be the best option every fucking day of the week.
Exactly.
There
you go.
You have
there you go.
That has to that demands.
And this is why you work on yourself. This is why you work on yourself
commands that attention. Your
How do you
presence.
do that? How do you do that?
You
Jen, when I told you,
every
this is
fucking
all
It's
bars.
true. He's right. He's right. He's right.
every day you grind to make yourself better today than you were yesterday, better tomorrow than you were today. And when you do that and you constantly stay the best option, she won't go anywhere.
I like that. I love that. I fucking love that across the
See,
board.
Jen, when
I've got
we
one. I've
have
got one. I've got a
discussions,
ball
Jen,
curve. I've got one. I've got one. Go on.
okay, good.
No,
But Jen,
no,
when we've had
no.
discussions even in private, when we have discussions even in private, one of the things I'll usually harp on is one of the main reasons why you should be the best version of yourself as a man is that you have to equate that to actually, if you're walking in the room, and women know this, when a man walks into a room, a particular kind of guy walks into the room, they know whether or not he's that dude just by the way he's moving, how he's
That's
dressing,
Albertory, man.
energy
But
around
you got,
him, the
yeah,
energy
he's right.
around
He's right.
him.
He's
You know what
right.
I'm saying? I mean, when they say, you know what I mean, that's that guy, that's him.
Mm.
You want to make sure that you are as close to that dude that
Mm.
you need to be when you walk into a room. Because if you're just that, oh yeah, that's that guy, or he's just like every other guy, you are not sticking out.
And
You have to be valuable enough where they're afraid to lose you, where they second guess actually
Afraid to
losing.
lose. Yep.
and that's where I say, and I've said this before, but Jen, men have to realize that they are the prize. If a woman is not if a woman is not afraid to lose you, you're not a fucking prize. You're a
Word.
chump. Okay?
Word.
And I've said this before too. How many times do we hear all those alpha guys going like, yeah, alpha is shit, but when they walk in her room, like Haran just said, nobody notices them.
Facts.
And that's the truth.
Facts.
It is what it is.
Facts.
When I walk in her room,
Facts.
look at me like, all right, is he gonna rob us? Is he gonna break a door down? I command presence when I walk in the room. I don't gotta say shit. But that's
Absolute.
the guy that I am. And that's the type of guy I constantly strive to be, constantly trying to be the best and biggest version of myself because I don't want to lose anything that I love. So whether that's a woman or as a vehicle or whatever, if I love her, I'm going to do whatever I can to be constantly the best version of me so she would want to stay around in my frame so that she realizes the benefits of having my frame control. But when she doesn't see that, when she doesn't say like, oh, Glenn's frame control is not good, Glenn's being controlling and he's doing this, yeah, she's going to skirt out. Guys, if you guys want these women to stay in your life, I love when people say like, oh yeah, they're get a bunch of women. That's fine. But can you keep any of them, make them want to stay in your life? You may be able to bang them one night, but make them want to stay in your life. And that's where real game comes in. That's where having frame control, being the man that you're supposed to be, having control of your life all comes into place. Now, if you're controlling and domineering and you're trying to ruin their life or run their life, they're going to run away from you because nobody wants that.
This is a key point. This is going on. Like I said, that's a key point. No, I was going to say that's a very key point. He said that, yeah, because it's actually like you said. If you're controlling but trying to control their life, you'll push them away. And no matter how wealthy a man is, no matter how good looking you are, if that is the truth, because if you're a controlling guy and you're trying to control her life and dominate her life, you're gonna have problems. And the problem is this: a lot of wealthy guys are so used to having people around them saying yes, so used to having doors open for them because they have money. They've got the money, but they haven't got the knowledge. And that's why so many wealthy guys get caught up in a lot of BS, which they shouldn't be, like you said earlier. So it goes full circle, the conversation. So, and that's how it is. I fully agree with that. You could be, like I said before, you could be a multi-millionaire taking a girl to Cancun, but she'll be on the phone to me, who hasn't got a fraction of the money you've got, and she'll be saying blah, 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 blah. And that's the reality. So well said. You're well right there, my brother. Well said.
Like Jen, let me ask you something. Let's say you got two guys. Um, Subconsciously, men and women are attracted to a particular shape.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
Men are attracted to subconsciously, you know what I mean, by nature. I would say maybe a Coke bottle. Women are attracted to an inverted triangle
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
in regards to men.
Yes.
Now, when I say an inverted triangle, one of the things as men, one of the things that they teach you is that although your legs are important, that you should work on your legs, gentlemen. You know what I mean? One of
Don't
the
skip
main
that
things
day.
that you want to do, one of the main things that you should do in order to extremely be make sure that you're eye catching is to make sure that your traps are solid. You have well developed traps, deltoids, your chest, and if you have a small waist. Now, Jen, if you saw a guy like that, and let's just say he had a bag on his face, as opposed to another guy who's shaped like let's say a box. Okay, this guy's shaped like a rectangle. Okay, and he's got a bag on his face. Just physically speaking, what is your brain going to tell you is the more attractive option? You haven't seen their faces yet, so you don't even know who might be more attractive. But just physically, physiologically, what is your brain telling you that is more attractive and more suitable to a
Right.
man?
I have a crush on Predator. Have you seen him without his helmet?
Oh gosh.
Okay, well, all right,
It's
okay,
all
all
about,
right,
it's all about, can you save me if something goes down? So I'm always going to
okay.
lean towards the guy that looks like he can save us if something goes down, because I'm very much a save us type of person. I'm, you know me, I'm armed. I
When
like
she says save us, when she says save us, she says save me.
Right, right,
yes,
right, right, right,
fair.
right,
That's fair, but I
right,
want you
right,
to survive
right,
too.
right, right. Because I'm gonna need you later, right? I want you to survive too, because I'm gonna need you later.
Yeah. This is the most truthful panel I think I've ever had. Okay. Yes, yes, and yes. We're not lying on today.
But
Yes.
here's
That's true. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's
here's the
real
thing,
talk.
and I'm going to take it back to control and controlling. Now, control is knowing what you want. Controlling is trying to get what you want from somebody else.
Mm.
I know what I want. I want this box right here like this.
Mm-hmm.
Controlling is trying to make someone else to make that box the way I want it.
Okay.
It's I don't you want a triangle. I want this box. I'm going to try to manipulate you to make your triangle into my box. That's controlling. Control is all about options. And I really want to hit that home with people tonight is that control is about offering options. You could A, do it this way, B, do it the way I like, and these are your options. But guess what? Each option has a consequence. And the consequence of option A may be you don't get to be with me. And that's fine if that's your choice.
I agree.
But
I agree.
controlling
I agree with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
is about
I
not.
want to Michael De Jesus. Michael De Jesus he's so disenchanted. Poor baby. Mwah. He's saying all you can do as a man realistically is to be yourself and not apologize for it. First rule of marketing: if you try to satisfy everyone, you satisfy no one. And he's also on the love thing. You know, Don Levon, I hear you and respect everything you just said. The only thing I would say is that you have to, who's to say you stop loving someone if you were to realize that person shouldn't be with you? I think the thing with love, right? I think if people would look at love as a sense of what you can do for something else, for someone else versus what they're doing for you, I think people will be able to understand love more, because people go into relationships and it's like, I want this person to love me. I want this person to do for me. I want this person to be the person I want them to be. But if you go into a relationship like, what can I do for this person? How can I make this person better? How can I add value to this person's life? I think you view relationships a lot healthier, okay, and a lot better. But if you go in like, you need to complete me, you need to bring me peace, you need to make me happy, I think it's a lose-lose. Everybody should concentrate on how they can add value to the other person they're looking at.
I've got one. I've got a
Absolutely.
key question. Can people control who they fall in love with? That's across the board. Like some people say, oh, I can't help who I fall in love with. So conversely, I'm asking, can people control who you fall in love with?
Yes.
I believe wholeheartedly. First of all, I think it's hogwash when people say you can't help who you fall in love with. Falling in love is very intentional. In my
agree. agree. Yeah, agree.
And I've said this before. Men need to stop worrying about being loved.
Exactly.
Realize whether or not they're being respected or not.
That's my line. Yep.
Like, I will take respect over love any
Love
day.
every day.
You don't gotta love
Exactly.
me, but you better respect me. Like there's
That's it. That's my line. Respect.
There are men in my life who I
Thank
no
you.
longer love, who will never see my booty again, but I have the utmost respect. You are so freaking right.
That's
There are
right.
men I've been in relationships with that I was like, I will never see you again. I don't respect you. I don't like you. I don't like who you are. And there are other men who's like, wherever I see you, it could be 10 years, 20 years. I will always respect you, dude. Salute. You are so right. Why are men listening to this?
But here's the thing. I think it's one of the same on the coin. I think women need to be concerned with love and being loved, and men need to be concerned with being respected. Now,
right.
I'll take it.
That's good.
I'll take it biblically. Now I know Jen is not a big Bible person, so forgive me.
But I like the stories. I like the Bible stories. Go ahead.
Okay. So Paul writes in Ephesians, husbands, love your wives as you love yourself, as Christ loved the church. Wives, respect your husbands. It doesn't say wives love your husbands. It says wives respect your husbands. I think it's really interesting that we have to see that there's two words here. One, men need to love their wives as they love themselves. It says that they don't want to hurt themselves. They wouldn't cause harm to themselves. So they have to love their wives would love themselves. They have to love their wives and not want them to be harmed. In turn, for this love, women need to respect their husbands, respect their men.
Respect. That's it.
Respect it coming from God. That's like the difference. And so some of these guys are in here like, oh, but what about love? Motherfucker, worry about them.
You gonna love me if I lose my job? What?
Respect me. Like, put some respect on my name.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Men online specifically, because we see the worst of the worst online. But I hear this parroting. You know, are you gonna ride or die for me? Are you gonna love me if I lose my job, motherfucker? Why aren't you saying if I lose my job, I'm gonna get another one? Why can't you say that?
Well said.
If I lose my job, I will get another one to make sure we don't sink. What we hear is, if I lose my job, you still gonna love me? No, motherfucker, no, because I don't want to be homeless.
Look. I mean, look. I have a point that in relationships, and this is just for me. This is just for me. I could love you. You know what I mean. With everything that I have, but I most likely love me more than I love you. Now, in a situation like say if I lose my job, you know what I mean? The first thing that I'm thinking to myself is like, oh my God, how can I look myself in the mirror the next morning and I'm unemployed? I'm not really thinking about you, you know what I mean? I'm not really thinking how you're going to take it. I'm thinking how I'm going to take this, how I'm going to be feeling when 2 weeks from now, nothing hits my bank account. Like, I'm going to be feeling all types of messed up. I'm not really thinking about you. You're going to come later, you know what I mean? And it's like, you're going to be around the moment the numbers start hitting the bank account again anyway. Now, I want to talk about Joanna's point right here. And I'm going to use the statement that she just made, and I'm going to explain one of the reasons why we're having so many problems in the manosphere and incels. Now, she said women want men who don't need them and are always the best option. This does leave a lot of men out of the finer women. Now, look, Jen, I've explained to you a number of times, especially when you go on dating apps. Most of the times, women by default they want above average men because physiologically your body is telling you we need to find the best genetic material to make sure that we have strong children. We
I
need
could
to make
contest
sure that
this,
the
but go
human
on,
race
go on, go
is
on, go on, go on.
sturdy. The human race is sturdy. We need to make sure that the human race, you know what I mean, is weathering the storm. We don't want genetically deficient people running around here and we die off as a population. So your brain is telling you we need to go find the for sake of lack of a better term, the alphas, the genetic alphas. So yeah, when you jump on a lot of these women, when they jump on
What do
these
you define
dating
as a
apps and so on
genetic
and so
alpha?
forth. One second, brother.
Oh,
One second, brother.
sorry,
One
sorry,
second, brother.
sorry, my bad.
When they jump on these dating apps and so on and so forth, they're looking for the best options. They're looking for the best men and so on and so forth. It's genetic. It's natural. Now, what happens is that the men on the outside of that, who might not live up to these, expectations, to these needs, to these wants, they realize they are the men who behave as if they need women. They become needy. And when a needy man, what that communicates to the mind of a woman is a child. A woman
Mm,
is the makeup of a woman is anyone who needs me is a kid. I only have that space for my offspring. I don't have that
word,
space for this man. This man is
so
not
right.
supposed to need me. I'm supposed to need him because if I'm going through postpartum, I'm laying down here with this kid and I'm depressed, I'm just all over myself. I need to make sure that I have this man, strong, hulking man, who's going to go out there, kill the bison, bring it back, and make sure that me and my kid don't starve to death. There's reasons why a woman, when she has an orgasm, after you ejaculate in her, she's laid out. She's she just basically she's tired. There's a reason why after a woman has a child, she's worn out, she's whatever, because this is nature rebuilding her. And that man is supposed to be out there doing what he needs to do to make sure that she's taken care of. Now, if she's involved with a dude after she has a kid that she feels that she has to take care of, that's gonna completely pull, throw the relationship out of whack. So a lot of these
Mm,
guys who are incels who are complaining. The first sign of a man who is in his square is complaining. And a
you're dead
powerless
right.
person complains. A powerless person behaves like a victim. A powerless person is a baby. That is the most powerless person on the planet, a child. So that's it.
And that can be a whole other show. Again, like men do not
Mm,
comprehend that. Once I start seeing you as a child, that is how I see you forever. Like that is what you become to me in a relationship. And going back to what Glenn said, I do not respect you. And I'm not gonna apologize for not fucking respecting you. Everybody has bad times. Everybody has bad phases in their life. We've all gone through it. But if your bad phase equals, oh, you still gonna be here for me, I cannot respect you. Because if
mm.
I panic and I worry about my finances, why the fuck aren't you doing it as a man? And I start seeing you as my child, and then you become that to me, and I lose all respect. I just do, and I'm not gonna apologize for it. I don't gotta ride or die with you. I'm not your mama.
I've got a good one. Perfect addition to that. Yeah. Look at Will Smith. Look at Jada. I hate to use celebrities, but if we look at Will Smith, look at Jada Pinkett, look at Tupac. Yeah. 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 Now, the funny thing is, I feel Jada Pinkett, judging from what I've seen online, whatever, she may arguably view Will Smith as a child. Yeah. If she's the dominant party as it appears, she may view him as the child, no matter how wealthy he is and how successful he is. But yet, someone like Tupac is the man who's in his alpha. Does that make sense? So her real desire, her real man, who's obviously not here, but her real desires was the man who stuck up for himself, who was the man in his alpha core, as opposed to another guy who is more, let's say, subordinate to her. Does that make sense? You see the dynamics I'm trying to portray here.
Mm-hmm.
So bringing it back to the question, yeah, a lot of it's to do with how women view masculinity and how they view men in some aspects. Does that make sense? Not going too deep, obviously.
So
Make
basically,
sense?
she preferred Tupac because
Well,
he
what I'm
was.
saying is, yeah, okay, if I simplify it to a street level, okay, a lot of women like that rebellious kind of guy, yeah, agreed.
Mhm.
The common argument, women like thuggish guys, street dudes, yeah, fair enough, that's fine, yeah.
I mean, the way
But
ill doctrine, the
but
way ill
but 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 but
doctrine
but, but, but the way men have been trained
is
by
violent and what?
society, yeah, the way men have been trained by society is that if they go out there, do the right thing, go to university, get their degree, keep it clean cut, and be non-thuggish, they're the prize. And that's where the confusion starts, in my opinion. Going back to his point about incels and people like that, and introverts and incels, whatever it was.
Well, I
Make
mean,
sense?
in Jada's case, she was alpha widowed by Tupac.
Right. Good
Oh.
point. That's what I'm. Yeah. And it's yeah. And it's yeah. There you go.
And Will Smith,
Perfect. Yeah, you broke it down better than I did. Perfect.
Smith never measured up to anything greater than Tupac. He may have, in the sense of career and success, but as a man, no, he was never the man that Tupac was, or better. So
Wait. But hold on. But this is it. But arguably, I mean, I agree with you. But arguably, yeah, society would say that Will Smith is the man, and because he's obviously far more successful than Park was. Although I agree with you, I know I'm with you, but the way
that,
society jumps into the picture of the theory you have
I think
is
that's
that
I think a man that's been dead since '95 still haunts him
96, yeah,
with China,
yeah, that's
where
widow, that's widow.
you know what I'm saying. I think he has had a much more longer legacy than Wild Wild West. I mean, if
Aye,
you're it's really subjective on how you decide to look at it.
Not a dead
I mean,
man.
it's subjective. That's it. Yeah.
Pac is still selling out albums. Okay, um, he's still a relevancy. Come on. That is the worst. When you know this dude is dead and he still haunts your girl's vagina, like, what did Pac do?
Word. It's
Like,
true.
he's
It's
like,
true.
he's a straight outlaw on her or
Yeah.
something.
Right. So that's the thing. The crazy thing is, me and you understand this concept of who the man is, but the average guy, say the guy in the middle of the park, down to the incel, and then to the geek, whatever, they don't understand this concept. Hence why they get themselves in trouble. Make
No, they,
sense?
no, they do understand the concept. They just don't like it, and they don't want to. They don't want it to.
Oh, yeah, they don't like to
That's exactly what
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
They
They,
hate it.
That's
They
Well, it's always the pressure of performance. There's
yeah,
see that's the problem with the truth.
yeah.
People don't like the truth because what comes after the truth is okay. What are you going to do now? Because then
Well,
there's the
Aye,
pressure of performance. Once the
every
truth shows up,
man, every man
good
has to
point. Very good
burden
point.
of performance. Men have a burden of performance.
yes,
Okay? If you don't
Yeah.
perform and you don't show that you can do what you say you're gonna do, she's not gonna be with you. Okay,
Word.
she as a liability. She sees you as somebody that cannot be consistent with what
'Cause-
they say. Their
about to
words
say that. Yeah. Yep.
don't match. And women judge that shit so quick, as they should, because they're saying, I'm selecting a mate to potentially bring children in the world with. Wait a minute, can
Mm.
you? Yeah, I can hunt. Oh, you can go kill a bear? Yeah, kill a bear. But you
Shit.
come with a stuffed animal? Hey, baby, killed this bear for you. A little stuffy. She's gonna be like, no, we're not it. I wanted that grizzly rug. Okay, you brought me this little fucking chia pet.
Real talk.
and I
That's it.
think that Will
That's
was
it.
for Jada was standing on his wallet, even though he's very tall. He was standing on his wallet, and she was like, "Okay, this is going to be an interesting life." But innately, she prefers the Tupac, and I still don't understand why, because Tupac wasn't even what he portrayed. Like that whole, he wasn't even.
No,
It's
right.
Like, remember, she said that she didn't even want to get married to Will Smith. She's like, fuck. Yeah, I do. Whatever. We're done.
You're Will Smith. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Simon, welcome to the panel. Simon Hectic. What say you about, are you in control or just controlling? What you heard so far? This has been, let me tell you, this panel has been a jewel. This panel has been a jewel.
Yes, it's
You have to say, Simon.
How are you? Peace to the panel.
Peace.
Yeah, I've been listening. It's been interesting. It's been a lot of perspectives, and yeah, I mean, like, if I'm gonna backtrack, Will Smith, I don't know, like, why do people like have this sort of like, they have their own perspective on Will Smith, like they know what's going on in his life. They don't know what's going on in his life. They know what's going on in Jada's life. Really? Do we?
My brother, the point I made, my fellow English brother, the point I made was that what we see in the media and how it plays out. I wasn't talking in terms of a personal hands-on sense.
No, not in a personal sense, but in terms of, are you in control? Like, in a personal sense.
Simon, you're making a great point, except that Jada has been telling us what she thinks of Will for decades.
That's the difference. Yeah.
So they're a little different than people like, oh, we have no idea. She's literally verbally been saying on camera, he's not enough this, the sex wasn't that, I love Tupac, I preferred Tupac. So it's a little different when we're talking about Jada and Will. We do know a lot about them. We even know about her infidelity. We know a lot about the Smiths because they overshare. And he even said he felt insecure about Tupac, right? To the point where he couldn't even talk to him. So Jada and Will are different because they've told us a lot about the dynamic of their marriage. They even said it's a bad marriage, but they're not getting divorced. So they told
us. It's really,
that's a great point.
You know what's really scary about it, Jen? That's not even what they said and what's going on right now. It's not even 20% of the bad stuff, man. That's not even. For people, see, a lot of people in the entertainment industry know what's going on, and we don't really talk about it because this is not our place to do that. But trust me when I tell you, folks, this is not even 30% of what's really going on in their situation, and this has been happening since the 90s, man.
Yeah. I mean, she's been basically telling us he's not enough since the fucking 90s. It's pathetic.
I just want to interject, like, because I didn't finish. The thing is like, for us as viewers, it's like, it's all shits and giggles. But if you actually, signed a marriage with somebody and you're actually in a marriage with somebody, that's a bit different. He's committed to Jada and he's made that choice, right? And that's a hard thing when everyone else in the world is pulling out all these videos, all these sort of views and everything else, saying like, you've made the wrong choice. How would you feel? Like, I'm on your platform. I don't want to disrespect you. I'm not doing that. But you married the guy of your dreams, right? And he's like this guy, but he pulls out some bullshit every 2 seconds. Pulls out some bullshit, right? Are you gonna back him? Or are you gonna like be like, I don't know?
Okay, can I ask this question?
No, I'm not talking to you.
Go for it. I can answer. Go.
I'm not talking to you.
Okay, Jay.
Just wait for a second. I posed the question to the lady, and then if you can rebuttal, that'll be cool.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand. That he pulls what? He pulls some bullshit?
You married the guy of your dreams. Right? To Will Smith, Jada was the woman of his dreams, right? Or why would he do that? Right? Now she pulls all this bullshit, and the world is turning around and going like, "Will, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do this. You're beta. Blah blah blah." Are you gonna just? You've had 3-4 kids. Are you just gonna turn around and go, listen? Do you get what I'm saying? Or are you gonna back your boy?
I understand completely what you're saying, because after the scandal and after the slap, the whole world is telling Will, drop her like a bad habit. She's toxic. I understand that. But if he's the man of my dreams, I don't think the man of my dreams is going to, for decades, go online, on TV, on interviews, on worldwide platforms, and constantly tell people I'm not the wife you heard. That's not the man of my dreams. That's some dude that I'm hanging in there with because maybe I like the lifestyle, maybe I like the money. So Jada and Will are complicated specimen to compare to anything, because the man of my dreams would not be going on interview. I would have dropped him a long time ago. Why Will is hanging on to this situation, I do not know, but I could not, in my right mind, watch my husband go on platform after platform after platform and tell me that he preferred Aaliyah, but Aaliyah's dead now. But he still prefers Aaliyah, but Aaliyah's dead now. I could, with my ego and my pride and my mouth, I could not, in my right state of mind, stay with a man who was still harping about Aaliyah 20, 30 years later. So to answer your question, it wouldn't have even gone that far where the whole world is telling me drop him like a bad habit. Me, with my ego and my pride, I would have gave him the deuces, go dig her up and go be with her, or jump in the coffin. Because I am not her. Apparently, I'm not enough for you. I am gone. Now, why Willis stayed is beyond me. But no, I would not support someone who I felt was trying to destroy me, basically, in public, and tell the world I'm not enough because I'm not the dead Aaliyah. Like, I couldn't do it. So to answer your question in long and short, no, I'm not going to support it. I wouldn't. No, I'd be gone way before Will.
So here's the problem. And then we'll go back to control and controlling. Will has no control. And Jada does. Not only does Jada have control, she is very controlling of the narrative that is being spread about. So the whole Will Smith and Jada thing, I'm sorry. If it was me, I'm gone. I'm gone. You and here's the problem. This is why guys are telling Will, like, you need to drop her, you need to drop her, because she's bringing shame to this man. And men like to see another man be shamed like this. It's despicable. And it's almost, I have not been able to watch a freaking Will Smith movie since, because I can't stand the shame.
Thank you. That's it.
Oh, I think I'm better than Will Smith. Yeah. I'm really just saying, like, the shame that he carries from all this is so disgusting. I can't watch anything he does without it saying, that's not really Will Smith. That's just another man covered in shame. He's not James West. He's not Mike Lowry. He's not Ali. He's this guy that's cheated on and made fun of.
You might have to channel Mike Lowry.
And the thing is, so it's
Mike Lowry. One of the things I just want to actually, harp on is that this is a clear example of what I said earlier. He's afraid to lose her.
What?
So the fact that he's afraid to lose her, she has the leverage in this situation.
Thank you.
So she can run amok, she can do whatever, she can play whatever game she needs to play. But he's afraid to lose her because, again, Jen, like I said before, he's afraid for this to be another failed situation, another failed marriage. And he has issues with failure that run far deeper than his marriage that he needs to come to terms with. He needs to say that, okay, this didn't work out. This is not working. I need to move on from this. He wants to stick it out. He wants to, show the world that he can fix this. And he's been trying to do that since the 90s, and it's just not working.
The problem.
It's the essential.
so well said. Sorry to cut you. So well
Oh,
said. Sorry to interject, but this is where it goes full circle to what I said. Some men can have all the wealth and have what is society's expectation of being a man. But the reality is you haven't learned anything or have that knowledge that makes you the man. So you have the wealth, the trappings, we haven't got the knowledge, hence why she's disrespecting him in the public arena. And we're talking about a global star being disrespected, and to the point where she got with her son's best friend, a young boy, a youth, as we say over here in the UK, a young boy. And that to me is very disrespectful. She didn't get with Shaq, she didn't get with Michael Jordan, she got with a very young guy, the son's age. And Will, the worst thing is Will okayed it. From what we know, Will Smith okayed that. And so for me, that is the ultimate sign of disrespect of you as a man. Going back to Glenn's point. So that's how it goes full circle. Yes, you got the wealth. Yes, you're a global star, but you're still a boy in her eyes. So much so that the guy on the street that has more backbone, more morals, and is more consistent is seen as the man as opposed to you. That's my point.
I'm gonna like go back to controlling and control, and I think there's a few things that we misconstrue as controlling. Having morals and principles is not controlling. And I think a lot of people because I will accept certain things based on my morals and my values, right? That's controlling. But people will say that that's controlling. Oh, you're being controlled by this. No, this is just my worldview, and this is how I view my life. This is how I view the world, and this is how I get to operate for me. That's not controlling. That's just living by morals and values and principles. Those are not controlling things, but people will love to twist them and try to say you're trying to force your morals onto me or you force your beliefs on me. And I think that's really sad. That's toxic in that sense. When people twist it around. Like, I'm for whoever wants to marry you can marry a cheeseburger for all I care. If that's the love of your life, go ahead. Go ahead, marry a cheeseburger. But I don't see that as a successful, healthy marriage. You can marry whoever you want, but don't tell me I gotta accept it.
And I guess that's the point. The point is we don't really know. Well, to an extent we know, but we don't really know what's going on there, right? Because
burger.
Like we live quite ordinary lives to be.
Are you going back to the Will Smith thing? Because I thought we moved on from that.
Just generally, we live quite ordinary lives. So in terms of like control or being controlling, that could be taken into a juxtaposition in our own house. Like you may have a way of living as a man, and a woman can turn around to you and say you're controlling, but what your vision may be is what you're trying to communicate to that person or that woman, right?
I disagree. I don't think a woman will tell me that I'm controlling because I never try to. Controlling is to forcing my will on them, and I never do that. I say, Jen, if you want to be with me, this is what I accept in my life. This is what I won't accept in my life.
Okay. Okay.
Can I ask a question to the gentleman? Is his name Simon?
One sec. Okay. Jen's controlling the platform. It's her platform. Let Jen tell me what to do.
No, go ahead, Simon. You wanted to respond to Glenn.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no, I was having a conversation and someone interrupted, so I didn't know what was going on. So
no, bro, continue talking, bro.
What I was saying is sometimes, like when you're in a space, another person can see your actions as controlling when you're not actually being controlling based on the fact that you've lived a particular type of life, right? So let's say, I don't even know, the guy with the blue cat, what's your name?
Glenn?
Glenn, right. Let's say you've been a farmer for like 10 years and you've sort of understood the way of farming, and then you meet this woman and she's not sort of, you know, she's just not had this sort of lifestyle, but yet you meet her, you fall in love, blah blah blah. Okay, right? But then 12 months later, she turns around and starts to see your behavior as controlling because you have a certain way of thinking about things, right? You're not being controlling to her. You just have a routine. You just have a lifestyle. You just have a certain way of going about things. But when she came into your life, she was attracted to you in particular, not your lifestyle. Okay.
So she changed.
Are you interrupting, bro? I'm talking to her.
Sorry, can you carry on? Sorry, bro. Sorry, go on. Bless. Sorry, bro. Sorry.
No.
Go.
We're free humans. You can say. I'm just saying these things happen, right? You meet somebody sometimes, right? And you're in a certain particular lifestyle, and they get attracted to that.
Let me ask you clarification.
Yeah. I'm just trying to sort of see where you're coming from. Based on your previous conversation.
Yeah, I just want to be able to re-answer your question correctly. So I'm a farmer, and I'm out there, and I got the cows. I'm doing the farm stuff with the pigs, and I got cornfields, and I got, I'm doing the farming life. I'm up at like 5 o'clock in the morning with my overalls on and my farmer hat, and I'm farming.
That's a great visual, Glenn.
And you're saying months later, my farming ways are no longer attractive to her. Is that
maybe? I'm just saying maybe.
No, I need to know if it's no longer attractive to her, or there's something that I'm doing that she doesn't like.
No, because what tends to happen is you meet somebody and they don't really know you, right? But they're attracted to something that they're interested in, right? So they're seeing you. You're getting the bag, right? You're doing your farming shit, and it's all good, right? You're the guy. You're out there, right? Everyone's talking about you. It's like boom, 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 right? This person walks into your life, and it's like, okay, but they don't actually know what the graft you're doing is, right? You're waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. You're having to sort of, get the milk out and all that madness. Right? You're having to do all that sort of stuff, right?
You know what happens?
They don't want to take no part of that. But
some London Zoo business gone.
Yeah, but that's what's happening, right? So now you're sort of like in a position. So like you fell in love because you're attracted, right? And you're putting it down. But then it's like, oh, are you going to partake in this shit? And they're like, I don't know about that. Because like when I came into it, it was just attraction. So then it's like they start to assert like the fact that you're trying to assert control because you're like, I've got to get my shit. Because what happens is like you start to think in a certain way and move in a certain way. It's like, are you actually sort of being part of what I'm trying to do? Right? And I'm not saying it from a farmer's perspective. It could be any perspective. It could be like corporate or whatever. Are you trying to? Are you part of what I'm trying to do? So it's like, if you're not, it seems a bit controlling because you're trying to tell me what to do.
All right, I'm a farmer. All right, I meet Jen down at the Hull Punk Town down over there, and I'm selling my mules. Okay, I got 2 asses over here. I'm selling them because I want to get 4 asses so I can have a whole ox line. All right. Anyways, she's digging my overalls and my sideways farmer hat. All right, and my Timberland boots. And
I love it. Go ahead.
she's a city girl, right? I don't know what she's doing out there in the poor dog country, but she's there, okay? And she's like, I'm getting this. This is cool. And then she tells me 6 months later, I'm tired of you getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go milk the cows. Like, why can't you waking me up every time? This is what I do. I get up at 5:30 every morning to go milk the cows to give us breakfast. This is what I do. You don't have to like it. The door is right there, okay? But this is how I provide for my. I'm not controlling where you sleep and how long you sleep, okay? I'm doing what I need to do because this is the life that I chose to live. I chose to be a farmer. So I'm going to wear my overalls and go out there and go before the rooster crows to do this. Whether she likes it or not is irrelevant. And I'm not controlling her to stay there. I'm not saying you have to stay in this house.
Right.
So it's like Tone said, he's not controlling. I changed. I'm the one that changed. He's always been the cowboy. I changed my mind to now I'm not attracted to it anymore. But he's still the cowboy. He's always been the cowboy.
Exactly. He hasn't. Yeah.
Because you didn't take into account the realities of the situation. I think a lot of times what happens with people is that they might like something, they might like a person, but they like it on a superficial level. They don't take the opportunity to really understand what does that entail. Oh, wow, he's an international man of mystery. He's James Bond. Yes, but that doesn't mean that when you wake up in the morning, he's going to be there. No, because he's out killing Russians. He's James Bond. You know what I mean? It's what it is. You know what I mean? Or if you're dating Batman, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a chance that he's not going to be around to help little Johnny out with the homework because he's fucking up the Joker. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It's a part of the
game. If I see the cowboy, all I'm thinking was the cowboy I saw one time at Magic Mike or Thunder Down Under. I'm not thinking long term.
Right.
The cowboy one time.
Right.
You know what it is. You know what it is. With women think in the present. That's the issue. Like men jump in and think long term, but the woman's thinking of here and now. So you ain't thinking of like
always, not all the time.
No. But I'm talking about in terms of well, generally, not always, but generally speaking, you know what I mean. You know, when she's angry with you, she's not thinking of all the good deeds you've done 2-3 years ago, or the good deeds you've done, only the here and now. But carry on. Sorry.
So I mean,
enjoying this.
That's true.
About this. That's what we just heard about the farmer is a perfect example of why people get so twisted when you live in you're doing what you need to do and you choose not to divert your frame for anybody. They call you controlling.
Exactly.
And that was a perfect example. And no shot at dude for bringing this example because this is literally what people think. They literally think you stay on your purpose and you choose not to deviate from your purpose for any controlling. And that's not the case. You just have control.
Ooh, that even happens with family members and friends. When they're like, oh, you used to be, or I liked you better when. I'm like, no, I'm on my purpose now. I need to focus.
Well said.
And then they'll turn on you and say you're controlling, you think you're all that, and you went Hollywood. And it's like, no, I just want this for my life. I'm not forcing you to be a part of this or accept this, but this is what I need to do for my life. But then they'll go tell other relatives or friends, like, no, she's just controlling. And I'm like, I'm just controlling me. So
but Jen, to your point, you have a very good point. You know what I mean? Because in a situation like that, I think a lot of times you need to take into consideration. Sometimes people are around us because we make them feel better about themselves.
Word.
Okay. Sometimes we make them feel better about where they are in life, and then when that changes, when that condition changes, or when we level up and we might be on the same plane as them or surpass them, then the relationship becomes very, very dicey. Things become very dicey.
Yes,
so we have to keep that, and we have to do an inventory a lot of times of the people that we choose to hang around. Is this person around me because I make them feel better about themselves? Or is this person really contributing to my life? And am I contributing to that person's life? Because it has to be a two-way street.
Yeah, it has to be a bit of a mix. And, we give and take, right? And we have to be real with that. And I think that's where people get a bit upset about things sometimes. Like, so if you're giving too much and someone turns around and like you see a bit of an odd spot and you're like, I don't know, got to go a bit back with that. And it's like, that don't really fit me. Maybe you need to have a conversation about it. There's no harm in sort of like picking up the phone and going, look, you fucked up a bit over there. Like I ain't really rocking with that, you know. Because that's just life, you know. People will fuck up. We're human beings. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not really about control. It's about being able to communicate. It's about being able to actually turn around and have the words that come out of your mouth that that is able to have the other person reciprocate what you are trying to explain and take that on board. And the problem is many people can't do that. They just simply can't do that. It's like ABC. It's like we're going back to nursery sort of here. Do you get what I'm saying? Like where people are, we're talking to people like babies. It's like, goo goo gaga. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like at the end of the day, control is not that difficult. But I think like a lot of people end up in situations where they're not really in a position to be able to communicate with their partners to a point where they're able to come to a just position where there's no conflict, you know, no violence or no, you know, all this crap that comes with life. Who wants to deal with that? No one wants to deal with that, you know. So
necessary evil.
Yeah, I mean, there's no necessary evil.
It is. Conflict is in a lot of things, okay? When we have debates, you have conflicting opinions.
No, right, yeah, okay, right. Debate is something that is a political stance, okay? It's a political stance for the good of the purpose of the people that live in the society that we live in, that enables us to be people that get on in society. It's not a thing where you are in a flat where or four walls in between people that you're having a one-on-one conflict with someone that you have no idea about what you're qualified about talking about. It's bullshit, okay? You're going to end up in a fucked up situation and people are going to be carting you off somewhere in some crazy stuff. And police cars are going to be drawing up going, wow, wow, wow. You know, it's that, no, right? Do not think you are, look, I have endless conversations with people about this, about the fact that people have unqualified conversations with people who they think are their friends that can enable them to get to a better position that they are in 2 seconds before they were in a fucked up position, right? No, you can't do that, okay? What you need to do is be real. Do you get what I'm saying? At the end of the day, just be real. Like, back off, calm your ass down, right? And realize that you're a human being. And at the end of the day, like, we are not better than each other. What we're trying to do is build each other up. We're trying to build our own communities up. We have endless conversations about how we're trying to be better people and do this and do that. And we have the brain space to do that. And that's fine. And we're capable of that. But this negative talk and this whole thing about, oh, I'm just going to talk to someone because, you know, I need to talk to somebody. No, talk to somebody that's qualified, right? If you need some therapy, get some fucking therapy, okay? No one's in some crazy space like that. You need to just call someone up and get some unqualified sort of conversation about some backtrack bullshit that's just going to land you in another bed. That's just going to like be some cycle.
I know I'm better than some people, and I know I'm worse than others. Okay, like
I've said that too.
There's nothing wrong with believing that. There's nothing wrong with believing that.
You can believe what you want.
Our herds are equally the
free
same.
Country.
No, fuck
in
that.
Western one.
Like, I'm sorry, I can't agree with you with that, but I do agree with people getting sound advice from people that have, and I wrote a post about this on my social media not too long ago. I say, be judgmental, judge the fruit of people. What is their fruit? Their fruit are their deeds and the actions of therefore of, you know? So if you want to be a millionaire, you're not going to talk to the fucking homeless person on how to become a millionaire, okay? But you're going to surround yourself with the right people. So you have to judge the fruit of people. And you're going to have some very, like I had a very difficult conversation with a family member of mine where I told them straight up, look, just because I came out your womb, that doesn't mean that you are credible for any advice, because I don't find anything that you say or your actions to be of substantial credit. I'm sorry, Mom, you messed up a lot, and the choices you have made in your life don't show me that you have the best wisdom when it comes to financial freedom. Doesn't show me the best information on how to have a good family, because you've had 2 divorces and all this chaotic. That you're not the person I'm going to go to relationship or financial advice. You just don't measure up. And it's okay to have that conversation and say that to people. But you have to be willing to say that to people that just don't measure up. And it's okay to be judgmental that way. You know, the Bible.
I don't really see it as judgmental. If you're already having that thought process in your head, that's telling you something. Okay, so you're in the best position to say anything about anything. So it's like when you're turning around and saying, your mum, right? That's deep from my perspective. But I'm just saying, like, from another perspective, maybe sometimes you need to listen.
I do this thing called active listening. So
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So sometimes you need to listen, because sometimes, like, you can gain so much from just not having this sort of thing where it's like men can be very egotistical, right? And we can turn around and we can just not be controlling as such, but be like, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So it's just like, I've gained so much from just listening to women. Sometimes it's just like sitting back and just going, look, I'm just gonna fucking listen, like, and not going, you're chatting shit, I know best, because I don't know shit, and we will never ever, like as people, human beings, we won't know shit. We only have a certain amount of time in this life. I'm speaking to my daughter about what her life is going to be when I'm dead, okay? And I don't know what the fuck that's going to be. And we could be so opinionated about stuff. And that's fine. We could have this conversation. This is cool. But I'm just saying, sometimes we need to chill, especially with the people that are present in your life, your mothers, your aunties, your fam. Look, I would say to you, take 2 seconds and chill the fuck out. Just fucking listen to them for a second, because you can learn so much, but it might not be what you want to hear.
And I will tell you this, before you listen to anybody, make sure you vet them. Make sure that their fruit produces the good deeds that you see in your life that you're missing. And take anything that I say, take whatever information that I say with a grain of salt and do your own homework. Okay? Don't just because Glenn said it doesn't mean it's gold. Glenn said it because this is what Glenn has witnessed, and this is what worked for Glenn, and this is the advice Glenn gives. But you could take any information that I say with a grain of salt, and I encourage everybody to do their own due diligence. Don't take anything for anybody, your auntie, your mom, your grandma. I don't care if it's your grandpa. I don't care if it's a guy walking down the street claiming to be Jesus. Until you know for certain that this person's information is gold, take it as a grain of salt. Do your research.
Right.
So let me.
I think also
Hold on, Haran. Let me piggyback off that real quick.
No problem.
I think that that's super, super important. I am that way as well. I think that, we're all different, right? And I think listening to parents and aunties and grandmas and uncles has steered people to making bad decisions a lot of times, because these people are hell-bent on a certain way of life and point of view. They come from a different generation. So it's relative. Of course, you're going to listen to your elders who have more experience than you. Of course, you're going to look, if you want to be a millionaire, you're going to talk to millionaires. You're going to study millionaires. But I think it's a dangerous thing. I never tell anyone, even my own child, don't listen to people just because they're older. Do not do it. Because a lot of these older people are just fuck boys and fuck girls that got older. They're in the same body and in the same mind. They just got older. So I tell my own, you know what I mean? Vet the people that you're talking to. Age means nothing, okay? And a lot of people, they have religious beliefs, they have traditions that they did throw on you. And, you know, we have doctors who hate their job because their parents said, you need to be a doctor or a lawyer. We will not accept anything else. We have people who are miserable in marriages because, hey, we're Catholic. You're not supposed to get divorced if you're a Catholic. So we have to be very careful who we look up to. And I'm all with respect your elders. I totally am. But I don't think that age is like, you know, the prerequisite for being right about everything. And sometimes those aunties and uncles and aunts and grandmas, sometimes they got fucked up point of views and fucked up mentalities. So I'm with you, Glenn. I just believe in vetting everybody, judging the results. You don't have to judge the person, judge the results. Why am I talking to you? Why are we having this conversation? How, you know, if we believe in you're the sum of the 5 people you hang with, like which one of the 5 are you? You know what I mean? It's like, do you fit into that 5? So that's very important. I think that's more important for a healthy, happy life than just listening to somebody just because they're the auntie, the uncle, the grandma, or the that's how I live my life. I stopped doing that many moons ago because does this person, related or not, does this person live in a certain way, think in a certain way, make money, the type of money I want to make? Does this person do that in any way, shape, or form before I even sit down and listen? Because people can be very influential in your life, especially when you share DNA. Especially
if the person, what you're saying, Jen, is that to the point of view and Glenn are making, I think a lot of times people don't take into account, is the person that's speaking to me, is this person qualified? A lot of times, especially in this day and age, we sit here and we're a little bit too liberal and democratic with allowing people to provide us with perspectives and information. I am the first one to tell someone, look, you're an idiot, or you don't know what you're talking about. So, like, Jen, from what you know about me, you know what I mean, I believe that it's clear that I'm a man of logic. If something doesn't sound logical, even if it goes against my point, if it sounds logical, rather, even if it goes against my point, I might take a step back and be like, you know what, pal, you might have a point, because that actually sounds like something that makes sense. You know what I mean? But if you're coming to the table with something that sounds completely illogical, based on absolutely no background, you have no qualifications, I'm not going to entertain you. I'm not here to make you feel better. And that goes for family members, friends, whomsoever, even me. If I come to you and I come to you with a perspective that sounds completely out of space, check me and be like, yo, wait, H, man, I respect where, you know what I mean, where you're coming from, but you have no clue what you're talking about. And I might take a moment to look at it and be like, you know what, you're right. Forget everything I just said. You know, we have to practice discernment. We have to put our foot down and tell people like, hey, man, you're not qualified for this. And me personally, before I even speak on certain things, I ask myself like, okay, am I really qualified to really speak on this? Do I really know what's happening? Do I understand the problem? If the answer is no, I don't contribute. I basically say, hey, man, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm the best person you should ask this.
Yeah, and a lot of our elders are controlling. Going back to the topic, so you have to be very careful. Respect your elders, but also respect yourself. And you know, I made a joke about it on Facebook the other day. I said it's amazing how all you guys are saying what Elon Musk should do and shouldn't have done with his billions for a better return. The motherfucker's a billionaire. Love him or hate him. I don't know anything about Elon Musk. I am going to do a panel about it with people that know more about Elon Musk than I do. But it's hilarious to me how all these men on Facebook now know what Elon Musk should have done or shouldn't have done, and what his return is going to be. It's I don't know if it's ego or pride or stupidity, but I'm like, you do know you have to, if you just look at the results, you have to salute the rank, even if you don't like the man. He is a billionaire. He is a billionaire, whether we like it or not. So it's just silly to me that all these people now know what he should be doing or shouldn't have done. It's funny to me, but.
Well, yes, because everybody wants to be an armchair quarterback.
Like, right.
If everybody knew what Elon Musk should be doing, then everybody would be a billionaire. But apparently,
everybody would be in the room with him.
He's the only one with 44 billion to drop on an app. Okay, like it's chump change. So how about we just watch him move and see what he does with it?
See, Jack Dorsey, the creator of Twitter, he's more qualified to say what he should be doing with that money. Because guess what? He's the guy who built the platform.
Exactly.
Okay, he's the guy, Mark Zuckerberg, he's more qualified to say what he should be doing, because guess what? He built one of the most successful platforms in history online. Okay? Now, when you a dude that's struggling with $200 child support payments, you shouldn't really be telling somebody what they should or shouldn't be doing with $44 billion.
Seriously, it's. I want to give a point about controlling. And this is going to be different because we talked about it in the sense of male, female, gender, and relationship aspects. And I wanted to bring up another point on it that kind of maybe it's different. Okay. I don't know where anybody stands on if kids should be taught about transgender nonsense or transgenderism from kindergarten to third grade. That what they call the No Gay Bill Act.
Right. I read about it.
Now, this is to me where it's a good example of controlling. Mm-hmm. What the bill was said parents didn't want the school to talk to their kids about transgenderism at such a young age when they're still trying to color within the lines. Like Tim and Sally don't need to be worried about whether or not they're going to be this gender tomorrow, this gender. They're like, no, we want this out. Disney's saying that's controlling. And all the parents are really saying is, no, I just want control over what my child's education is. And that's the difference. There's control and controlling. And you look at the two concepts. When you have one movement or group that is forcing their agenda down your throat, that you have to like all trans people. Well, I don't even like all straight people. So there's a damn hard time. Okay? I don't even like all white people. I don't even like all people. But this is just being honest with you. So like when any type you have a movement or a group trying to push their agenda down your throat and saying that you must accept this or you're intolerant, that's controlling.
Of course.
That's control. I'm wondering, so like, you know what? If you think your kid should be gay and whatever, then that's your choice. You could raise them that way. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm not going to tell your kid how to live his life. But if you ask me my opinion, I'll give it to you. You may not like it. My opinion.
Right. Agree. All right.
And
I think that people
controlling. Go ahead, Haran.
I think people controlling, would be, to Glenn's point, controlling an example of that in a society would be a totalitarianist society where, the government basically has complete control, and they require that the state be absolutely subservient, without question, without pushback. What Americans really don't get is that, and we take this for granted a lot of times, we have a lot of freedoms here, man. We have a lot of freedoms. We can sit here and, we can drag our public officials. We can We can say some horrible things about, people in power here in America. You can't go to other places and do that. You can't really go to other countries and really, drag people in charge willy-nilly, and you not be, charged with, some sort of, terrorist act. But I will say this again to say this. There's a difference between having a situation where there is structure, where there are stipulations, where there are rules. But controlling is when you do not provide the option for the person to not step into the home. That's controlling. When you grab the person by the arm, you pull them in, and you tell them, this is what you're going to be doing. You have no say so. You have no, option to leave, and that's that. No, and I think a lot of times is that people have issues with spaces where there are rules because they want to behave without consequence. They want to behave, like children, like wild animals, and that is not how, this works. That is not how this works. And again, the internet, social media culture, it tends to allow that thinking to proliferate, because especially before there was the ability to block and people can snitch on other people and so on and so forth. This place was the Wild West. People were saying some wild things to each other, because there was no consequence. There was no threat of consequence. And people, and most of the time, human beings, this is why we have laws. This is why we have rules. Because when you don't have those things, people will revert to behaving like animals. So yeah, there should be structure. There should be control. But no, I don't agree with anyone being controlling.
I will say this. I'll even say this out there. And Jen can tell me if I'm wrong. But I bet you Jen finds a man that has control sexy.
Of course.
Standard.
Control is sexy to.
Hey, hey, a short guy got me once because he was in control.
Oh, shit.
There you have it. It is true.
But you were looking up to him intellectually, though. Intellectually,
Absolutely.
You were looking up to him. So
Yeah.
if it has to be, you look up to this
Good
guy
point.
physically or intellectually or spiritually. If a woman is not looking up to you in any of those ways, you got problems.
And he was very much in control. Like I've even seen, like, I'd watch him and we'd be out in public. And one thing that sticks out to me is he's very hands-on with men that are way bigger than him. He's like, hey, excuse me. He's very much in control of his environment. He's never like, although he's short, he's never like, I'm the short guy here. I don't really want to make a fuss around these bigger guys.
That's
And
a good point.
That to me was
That's a really good
appealing,
point.
right? Because short guys, I think they move short, right? And he was short. I think 5'5", 5'6". He was short, 5'6" maybe.
Well, they got little legs, so they have like they take little steps.
He's very physical person. Thank you so much, Juana. Super chat break, and then we're out of here, gentlemen. Thanks, Jen, for having an intelligent panel and conversation. Peace and discernment wins every time, Juana. Listen, I'm going to share this. Please share this panel. I am very, very, very proud of this panel and this discussion. Thank you so much to Glenn Lawrence Presents. You are the one that presented. Glenn Lawrence Presents. You presented.
I told you it was Glenn and Jen on the block. We're taking over.
It was
Glenn over the whole block.
Huh?
Over the whole block.
We couldn't really the whole block. This was an amazing panel, an amazing discussion. Even when we disagreed, I love this shit. So I'm going to continue sharing this. Gentlemen, please come back. You guys are my freaking favorite, and that's why we are all here. I think we said too much for Simon. He just bounced out and didn't even say goodbye.
Well,
and thank you everybody in the chat.
The farmers.
Huh?
I just think you're still hung up over the whole farmer outfit.
Farmers. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you, chat, for getting it on in the chat. Please hit that like and subscribe on your way out. Please subscribe to Glenn Lawrence Presents, and it's
Is
spelled.
it Glenn? Yeah, Glenn. Are you on Instagram as well? Are you on IG?
Yes, it's under.
I'll look you up, bro.
Glenn, did you finish that movie yet?
No, we're still working on it, dude. It's a process.
Oh, cool.
It's a long process.
Oh yeah, it is. It always is. It
Yeah,
always
it
is.
takes
Yeah, just let me know when you're done.
all this stuff.
Let me know when you're done.
Jenny, can you just drop my Instagram link in the chat?
Yep.
So
Well,
you guys,
I don't know how to do the links. I'm sorry, but I
just
can say the name.
you know what it is. It's Glenn Lawrence _ presents.
Okay. Yeah, because they need to follow you. This was amazing.
Fantastic conversation. Great conversation.
Thank
Very
you for
enjoyable.
joining us all the way from. Where are you, sir?
You forgotten already?
No, London.
Oh, good. Just checking.
I'm actually going out to London in September, man.
Hook me up, bro. Yeah, Jen, give him my Instagram and holler at me, man. I'll show you around. I'll show you around. You'll have a great time.
Hey, man, you got some girls out there, man.
Roy, listen, roll with me, bro. I'll look after you. Don't worry. I got you. I got you.
All right.
Make sure, yeah. Jen,
this is the part. This is the part where I forgot to be a gentleman, Glenn. I forgot to be a gentleman.
All right.
I was wondering.
We spent 3 hours on this. 3 hours.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, everybody listening, I put Glenn Lawrence Presents on Instagram in the chat. Also, it will be in the caption. Give mama a couple hours, okay? Because I got plans tonight, but I will write in the caption where you can find these gentlemen. Please follow them. Please support. This was amazing. These are the type of men that I talk about exist, and they're out here. And we need this balance. And the only way we continue having this balance if you support these type of men, okay? So please follow Glenn. Please come back, Tony. Please come back, Haran. You know I love you guys. And let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Bless up. Take care. Have a good one now. God bless you all. Have a good one.
Have a good night, everybody.
Take care. Bless up. Bless up. Bless up. Bless up.
And I cannot totally leave without acknowledging the last super chat of the night. Thank you so much, Don Levon. You had great points in the chat as well. Thank you for the super sticker immensely. I appreciate you all. And I will see you next time. Hit that like and subscribe on the way out. If you have a YouTube page, even if you don't have subscribers or anything like that, share this, okay? Just hit share on it and share it to your page so people can see it. This was a great discussion. I love these discussions. Ill doctrine, whatever. I'll see you on the next one. All right, guys. Good night. This was amazing. Hey! All right, guys. I am out. I'm tired, but I'm still going outside because it's nice outside.